Alrighty, everybody.
Hey, hey.
We are ready
Oh.
to play. It's been a minute, but we back.
It has. Yeah. And everybody can be nice and confident now that I am back in control of DMing. Thank you very much to our own Beauregard, our Bodoc, sorry, for taking over the proceedings and leading our troop on an exciting mini adventure, which I absolutely love doing. Getting to play, never mind getting to watch as well. So thank you very much, Bo, for that. And leading off from our last session, Bodoc, as the small child that he is, sees his father Cricket approaching him and giving him a really big, secure hug. It's a beautiful moment, and a real warmth is enveloping Bo at this time. He starts to feel his father's hair, his father's fluffy beard against his skin, and it begins to tickle his nose a little bit. But as he begins to tickle his nose, he's about to sneeze. And he wakes up, and he's on the Silent Tempest, and he's got Rusty laying across him with the bottom top of his ear just tickling underneath his nose. And he finds himself back on the Silent Tempest, feeling a little bit worse for wear, and definitely having that feeling as if he's overslept, as if not only is he feeling the effects of the catnip that he was smoking, but he also feels like he's overslept. He slept for much longer than your circadian rhythm is supposed to be at this time. As he is basically coming to, we'll come back to him in 1 second. But Rian finds herself waking up, but to a much different sensation, as she finds that Tobin is basically full on licking the inside of her ear and has kind of stood on top of her shoulder, and and you really get that feeling that as you're waking up, you would probably consider you're really getting that sensation that Tobin is truly grown. He's almost leveled up, you would say, in terms of being an emotional support animal for you in times of confusion, which we'll be able to discuss may have impacts later on as we go through the story. But Tobin's bond with you and the party has certainly grown to the point that you would definitely consider him to be on his way to becoming a particularly emotionally supportive companion for the party. Storm, you find yourself waking up. You actually fell asleep. You don't even remember falling asleep. You basically went unconscious, and you were basically almost draped over the steering wheel for the ship. So you're almost there. You've almost kind of finished like, whoa, what the hell? It's sort of rocking and shaking, and the kind of the little wooden bits are kind of banging against your head to sort of wake you up as you go along. Tell, you wake up and you're looking straight up into the sky, and right above you are a couple of seagulls and other sort of sea-based birds squawking, because you're looking right up into the sky because you've basically fallen asleep in the crow's nest. You've fallen asleep up there. It's quite a tight space, so you've actually woken up quite cramped. You know, your kind of knees were together, and your kind of shoulder was bent over, and your neck was in a slightly awkward position. Once again, you don't really recall falling asleep either at this time. You know it was getting dark and late night, but once again, you are also waking up with this real sensation of I've actually overslept. I've slept for much longer than I'm used to, and we've all had that type of a nap during the day where if you sleep a little bit too long, you're like, what month is it? You know, you've got that real sort of groggy feeling about you. And Claude, similar to yourself, you have that feeling of having overslept, and your shoulder, your back are a little bit tight because you were sleeping awkwardly, almost on your shield. The shield that you keep in your back, you normally have that off to the side or off or slightly away from you, but you actually fell asleep on it. So you've basically been sleeping on almost a curved sheet of metal for an extended period of time. Okay. Um, Anybody have some immediate reactions, and then I'm going to go back to Storm as he basically comes to for the party.
Yeah, Bo's gonna wake up. I'm gonna. He's very emotional right now. Like, there's probably he just basically dreamed. I don't know if it was
Yep.
basically him reliving the past of like one of his most traumatic, like incidents. And he's gonna wake up with Rusty on his laying across him, and he's just like, Rusty, we gotta get up. And I'm gonna shake Rusty as I'm like sniffling along.
Yeah, and you're gonna hear Rusty going. Yeah. What? Yeah. What's going on?
I don't know, but I feel like we slept a little too long, buddy. That nip hit a little too hard.
Yeah, that was. Oh, that was a strong batch. Strong batch.
But
Oh, yeah.
have
Woo.
you ever like dreamed while on the nip on that stuff? That's
Oh yeah, like the craziest dreams. But like anytime you have a catnip dream, which I'm sure you had as well, they're almost these psychedelic things where you're like flying and there's loads of color. You can really, really tell when you've had a catnip dream, man. You really, really can tell. They're crazy.
right, right. All right.
Why did what did you what was your dream about? Like I was flying, and then at one stage I think I was like a dragon or something. And but then yeah, just some other stuff was
No,
it
it was not.
wasn't all good. But
It was nothing like that. It was maybe more traumatic than that. I don't know. Let's fun.
oh
Let's
nice.
yeah, maybe I'll talk about it later. Right now, I kind of
Okay,
got to process it.
okay. Well, just just wake me up whenever you know something. And he basically can't fall asleep almost mid sentence again. He doesn't even really answer. He's just back to sleeping.
All right.
Cool. Uh, tell Rain or Claude anything you want to do when you're sort of waking up.
Yeah, I go give Bo a big hug. I don't know what that was, but I'm glad you're here with us.
Wait,
Who's
you were in
scared of losing somebody else?
wait, you were in that too?
That was you, right? As a child?
Yeah,
Th-
yeah, but I thought I saw you guys in the dream, but I didn't think that's crazy.
It felt real. Is that something that really happened to you?
Yeah, yeah. Wait, yeah, that's really what happened. I didn't know. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know you guys would be in it, but the dream at least. That's crazy.
Just thought you just relieved, scared to lose somebody else.
Yeah, my father always told me it was just like a group of adventurers helped him out, but yeah. Well, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Cool.
Not really sure. What to thank you.
Yeah. Tell you're up in the crow's nest. Anything you want to look out for, or anything you want to do as you're waking up, or is it just more of a sort of getting yourself ready for what you think is the rest of the day?
Yeah, just getting up, looking out, kind of dazed and confused. Um, Trying to figure out what the hell happened. What's up with this group and us getting captured? There's like a main theme going on. We have a lot of prisoners.
He thinks to himself.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just kind of look out, just waiting for wherever we're going.
Cool. So you want to look out across from the crow's nest and kind of see what you can see.
Yes.
Okay. two things you notice in particular.
Okay.
While you were hearing the birds above you and seeing them sort of every so often, generally what you're finding actually is it's quite a thick fog around you. Okay? There's quite a thick fog around you. You can see one very faint light in the fog. You're basically traveling in that general direction. Very, very faint. And the ship is quieter than you've known the ship to be so far. Okay. Also, because of the fog, you can't actually really tell what time of day it is. You've woken up, your day is confused, you have no sort of ability really to recognize when it is, what time of day it is, even noise, weather. A lot of your sort of senses slightly confusing you right now. You're even with your experience of traveling, there's something confusing for you right now.
Do we sense anything magical from the fog?
So I'll come to you back in a second, Claude, because you've just been focused on talking to Bo. So
Yeah.
you haven't really picked up on that. You've just been like,
Also, we're
you
in
woke
that
up
cab.
from the
Yeah.
dream. Yeah, you woke up from
Oh,
the dream.
okay.
You woke up from the dream. You're still very dazed and heavy sleep, but you've just had this sensation that your reaction to waking up from this dream is to immediately believe it was a thing, it was a real thing, and you went straight to Bo. That was your immediate reaction to that. No sort of question. You just went straight. Oh, that was real. Went straight to Bo. Okay, and you've had that conversation. Cool. Rian, one of your ears has been licked clean right now. It is gone. And you wake up and Tobin is standing on one of your shoulders. He's looking in, and a little glint catches your eye for Tobin as he looks particularly clean and handsome in his new puppy armor that you bought.
Rand's happy to see him. And in a rare moment, pulls him in for some cuddles.
Oh, and he's loving the cuddles. He's trying to lick you even more and more and more. It's like sort of face is going about. I don't know if you're letting him lick your face or if you're like, oh no, it's okay, no kisses, thank you. Or
for like a minute, and then it's like,
Yeah,
okay, that's
Yeah,
enough of that.
yeah. And he's excited, and even though his feet is a little bit slippery on the wooden boards, you can kind of see around you. There's some wet patches on the boat around you, little bits of seaweed, etc., that he's slightly slipping on, but that's just as much sort of his excitement around you. And he's almost kind of doing little circles, and he can't roll onto his back because of the armor, but you can kind of see him rolling onto his side. He's almost like he's still getting used to that as it goes.
Guess you went on your own little adventure. Am I able to just tell if there's anything special? I mean, other than just appearing on this dog, anything that stands out about this armor? There's anything noticeable?
No. Basically, you see that your bag he's basically just gone through your belongings with the bag. It's not strapped on or anything. It's still very, very loose. And you can see that any rations that you had in there, they've all been eaten. And you had quite a few rations in there, and Tobin has eaten them all. But he doesn't look like, oh my god, I'm so full, I've eaten them in one go.
Yeah.
You just know that all of the rations that you had are eaten.
Well, let's fix that up, buddy, and Ryan's gonna try to fit the armor a little better and buckle it on a little more securely.
Yeah, he was kind of like half hanging on him, like there was a little like neck hole, and he kind of just stuck his head in there, and it was kind of hanging off. And it's not like it's perfectly fitting, but now that you've sort of got any sort of straps and little buckles and tight, and there's little pouches for carrying stuff in there. Obviously nothing's in there yet. But basically he found this little sort of light armor. It had a really enticing smell. It brought his nose to it. and then like sticking his head through I don't know, like a bucket. He kind of got his head almost kind of caught in it, but it seemed to fit him quite well, so he didn't shake it off. That's how he's got the armor on him, and he's eaten all of your rations.
Good to go, bud. I'll
Yeah.
feel a little better in battle.
Yeah. Claude and Bo. Claude, you haven't realized this yet, but you will later on. Your rations are eaten. Bo, your rations are eaten because as you're standing, there's some crumbs and stuff around the ground for you.
Oh man.
Okay.
Fucking.
Cool. Tommy, you are coming awake at the steering wheel.
Yeah, Tommy instant like snaps up, wipes the slobber off the side of his cheek, and is like grabs the wheel and is very much like looking around. Did anyone see me fall asleep? Because like this is his first time being a captain and actually sailing anywhere.
Yeah.
So he's like he's so embarrassed right now. He's like, holy fuck, I fell asleep. And he like I just want to do like a glance around to see if anyone saw me actually having fallen asleep at the wheel.
So what we can tell, no one at the moment. You're on a slightly higher level. Everyone's got things that they're looking at. Hell, I don't know if you did because you're high up. But there's a bit of fog, but not so much fog that you can't see like 6 feet in front of you or 20 or 30 feet in front of you. Just decent fog. Tommy, as you're looking at your new ship, okay, you had plotted a course. I'm showing the map on the thing here for Daggerford. Yeah. Do you remember after your nap where you were going?
I believe we were going up to Luskin.
Yep, going up to Luskin. Okay, cool. In your experience, Luskin takes about, let's say, 8 to 9 days of sailing.
As the crow flies?
Yeah, because you're along the coast anyway. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, good. Oh my God, your sailor terminology is so good. Inspiration point. That's amazing. Yeah. So, but you know it takes like 8 to 9 days to get to Luskin. Okay. You know about Luskin. One of the things you know about it is, in particular, a lighthouse. So it's like a northern port city. It basically is it's a small city port. It's the most established in terms of trade, but you know that other cities like Neverwinter would have had later developed a port, and it's much bigger nowadays. Okay, so it almost came in second for the area. And is somehow established itself to be bigger, but Luskin is almost the most traditional, the longest lasting one on that. Okay, so you got on the ship yesterday, yeah, and you were sailing for a good day, and you got to nighttime. But why can you see what you think is the Luskin lighthouse already?
Yeah, Tommy's definitely racking his brain. Like, we got on the ship, then it was the night, and I started sailing through the night. Maybe did Waterdeep put in a? Wait, we started at
Daggerford, yeah.
Yeah, so like I guess in his head, he's thinking maybe Waterdeep has also put in a light tower that he didn't know about, a lighthouse that he didn't know about.
Okay, cool. That's a good thought for Tommy at the moment. Tommy, as you're sort of racking that as well, you're starting to look down at the crew and at your party. You're waking up and you're seeing lots of random splashes of water and bits of seaweed on the deck of the boat. You would have expected the crew and that for it to be a little bit tidy. It's stormy and rocky and stuff, but just leaving stuff out on the deck, that's not good ship etiquette.
So I see actual like my crew, not this group, but like crew of the ship around.
No, you see your party around.
No.
Okay. Then Tommy wants to like storm down and wake the crew up because in his head
Yeah.
they're sleeping in. This is not how I run my ship. But at the same time, with the fog around, he doesn't want to leave the wheel, so he's just kind of grumpy about it. Like, oh, this is not
Okay.
how I wanted this to start out.
Yeah, so it's kind of embarrassing for you. It's your first time feeling like the proper captain. You're feeling like, did anyone notice you were sleeping at the wheel? Do I know exactly where we are in terms of charting a course? In terms of, have we somehow got lost in water? My ship is messy, etc.
Yeah, confidence is
You've had this
going down
weird-
quickly.
You've had this really weird dream. You're sort of wondering, did remnants of that catnip, smoke get me? You're kind of wondering what's been going on. Is this the sleep of someone who hasn't had a drink for a little while? You're not quite sure. Okay.
So this is what sleep is.
Anything you want to investigate, or do you want to kind of see what someone else is thinking? Or
So yeah, I already didn't see it, Mike. I think is any of the group close enough within like shouting distance?
So imagine you're on that little platform with the
Mhm.
at the back of the ship with the wheel. Down to your right, you can see Claude and Beau are in that sort of down one flight of stairs right there. You can see Rusty still asleep. A little bit of it, and that's where Claude is. A little bit in front of them is Rian with Tobin. Tobin's bouncing about, jumping around. Rian's playing with them. And if you look up to the crow's nest, you can see Tell, you can see the top half of Tell, and you can see him like stretching and kind of just a bit of yawn and stuff. You can see that. So yeah.
Tommy will like yell to Tell, "Oi, Tell! Do me a favor. Can you go get Vukron?" My like second in command that I've told people about. It's been a long night of me steering this ship. I need a little switch off. If you could go grab him for me, just like very played it off. Like,
Yep.
Ooh, I'm tired. If any chance you could go get him.
Cool. You shout up to Tell.
Tell ignores me, so I just
Yeah.
I thought you were going to continue on.
no,
Sorry.
you're good.
What's his name again? Velcro?
Vukron, Vukron.
Vukron.
Yeah, Vukron.
Velcro!
You just yeah.
Tommy needs you!
So Tel's just shouting into the sky. He's literally further away from Buckrod than Storm is.
Exactly.
And he's decided shouting from his spot 30 feet up in the sky and the crow's nest is the way to go. That's your original plan. Tell, as you can imagine, you get no response to the shouting.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
Can I hear him shouting?
Oh yeah, you can hear basically like, oh, Buckrod! But you don't even really. You can kind of pick out some of the words. Tommy's used to being on a ship, and so he's used to the way that you gotta cast your voice, for people to hear you at the far end of the ship. So Tell could pick up what Storm is saying. I'm sorry, what Tommy's saying. Tell's not. Tell's basically just like shouting into the sky.
You have to actually go and get him. Come get down.
I'm so high up here. Why did you
Come down. Come down.
All right.
Dad, why don't you ask one of my other brothers to do it? Jeez, you always get me to do it. Yeah.
Trying to be a lookout for somebody.
We're just yelling back and forth. You have to come down here.
All right, here I come. So I get down from my lookout point. And,
Cool. How did you get down?
Is there a ladder?
No. There's ropes.
Quite a predicament you put me in, Tommy.
Yeah.
Like I put you up there.
There's ropes, and there's that kind of like net, almost kind of almost kind of like square net that's down the sort of sail. It's not a ladder, but that is how you would climb those situations.
Just
They're not blowing about a lot. They're quite still. So even though you've got a lot of fog in the area, it's not a lot of wind. So it's not like you've got scary weather conditions. It's just visibility at the moment.
Okay, well, let's do Captain Jack Sparrow kind of move and get down from here by using one of the ropes.
just gotta like
Okay.
hook it around your foot and then like both hands on there.
How did I get up here? I don't even remember. That catnip is crazy.
Yeah, you climbed. It's okay. Don't worry. I'm gonna let you come down. I just wasn't gonna let you get away with just that. I got down. know?
You ain't
I got
going
you.
nowhere.
Yeah. I got you for 3 minutes. Yeah. So it's just more of a warning. I won't just let you away with that. Oh, I got down, safe and sound. No need to ask me to roll dice. So yeah. So you get down. Right? You climb down, especially because the weather is pretty secure. It's pretty calm. That makes sense. You just feel the boat sort of rocking around. As you jump down, you land in a little bit of seaweed. There's like there's other sort of bits and pieces. Kind of a creaky board. Every so often, a little bit of loose rope along the ground. Nothing crazy. You just hit the board, onto some seaweed, a bit of water, just sort of circular patches of water, and cool. And then because of your time on the ship, yesterday, before you went to sleep, the staff quarters is basically in a doorway underneath where Tommy is standing. That's how you get down to the sort of the crew quarters.
Yeah, apparently
Okay.
the crew's sleeping in. Get their asses up for me.
Okay, let me come down. I'm just imagining everybody else is around. That they
Just watching.
They were all closer than you, Tal. Every single person here was closer to the door than you. But you've been the one who had to risk his life to get down and come and check on the crew. You're the only one that he trusted to check on the crew. So yeah.
So I'm gonna walk up to Tommy real quick and just do a quick spin on the wheel, like in frustration.
Hey! Relax, man.
Let me help you out, buddy.
The ship like hard turns real fast, and Tommy like
Yeah.
counter turns it back, like whoa.
Yeah.
Surely that'll
little-
wake him up.
That little light that was through the fog briefly shifted to your left for a very brief moment, and is now back to in front of you, slightly to the right.
With this fog, I don't know how exactly close to land we might be. You can't just turn the wheel like that.
We're fine. Let me go grab your boy Velcro. All right, so I make my way down to.
I should definitely patent that name in this world. It's good to have the first one to ever come up with it.
It's amazing technology.
So you walk past the door, up the stairs, up to Tommy, spun the wheel, came back down the stairs, down to the door. But you're going to go in. As you go in that double door, the double door that's in front of you then would be the captain's quarters, and there's a little set of steps, basically almost like a 180, either to your left or to your right. So basically they both go the same direction, but you can go downstairs, turning back on yourself.
So I can take either a right or left. So I'll take a right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's the classic DM illusion of choice. Ooh, but what did you go left? You go right. And you see the swinging hammocks and the rough bunk beds and the sort of barrels of just sort of like an eel type concoction, not exactly a particularly nice blend, more of a rough blend. You see some fruits and vegetables that are very, very ripe, almost to the point of past ripe at this stage, for yourself. But the bunk beds and the hammocks are empty. and the area of the ship, because it's where people are, is normally quite dry. There's patches of water and there's a little bit of seaweed
Hmm.
in this
What
area.
would have happened if I went left?
Everything's perfect. Everybody's healthy. They're all alive. No, it's just
Okay.
for the idea. You go down, and that's what you see. You see empty hammocks. You see empty bunk beds. You see like a table with a set of cards on it that are still, they haven't been put together. They've still been on the table. Little matchsticks, that they were using for chips and things like that. They're all just sitting on the table. Some of them are on the ground because naturally it's a boat, it sways. Some of them are on the floor, but all of the bunk beds are empty. All the hammocks are empty. There's no tables. Some of the ale is there, but there's a hungry crew of men. Normally doesn't last that long. And some like overly ripe fruit and things in the air.
Can I get in on this? Bo.
Of course, if you have a reason to just go, Claude, thanks for the hug, but I don't care. I'm gonna walk away.
Well, no, so I'm gonna compose myself a little bit. Well, you said we're on. Originally, I thought we were. Yeah. Well, originally I thought Bo was kind of like in the crew quarters, but it sounds like we were kind of like out there, sort of on the ship.
Deck. Yeah.
Okay, which is fine.
So basically, you were in the night sky. You were looking. You have a bit of a smoke, and you drifted off.
Yeah. Can I? Yeah, you're right. I mean, but
it's okay.
Claude and I were having
you're having a conversation, but you did see Tell walk past you grumpily.
Yeah.
Shift the wheel of the ship to cause it to turn sharply, and then stump back down to the thing. Plus, you were right there beside Tommy as he shouted because you were closer. So you know what Tommy shouted to Tell. He told him to go get the crew.
Yeah. So can I do then? I noticed. So can I see all the splash, the seaweed and the water and the loose it is
now that you've spoken to Claude and you're getting your sense back a little bit. Like I said, you still have that overslept feeling. Like you had way too long of a nap. So you're starting to see the fog, and once again you can't tell what time of day it is, and seaweed and splashing and blah blah. And you've been on ships, like you have a lot of ship travel in your history, even if most of it is swamped. You understand sort of ship etiquette and what should be expected from a crew as well.
And well, the fact that you throw out there the fog, it really reminds me of the mirror, like where we run, and it's kind of giving him a sense of panic. Now that he's like kind of like coming to. Can I do kind of like a nature? I would investigation check. Actually, just an investigation.
I'm okay with investigation, survival, nature, whatever you sort of want the question, whichever you want the higher one to be, will flavor the answer.
I'll just do the investigation check on like the seaweed in the water. Like, like is this naturally occur? Like, did this come out of the ocean, or is it like tracks kind of like thing?
Okay.
And that would be a 17.
Yeah. There is an element of the almost in like lines, like it was almost kind of like dragged by something. So it's in a line. It's not just like, it's flat, water crashing in, hanging over things. It's not like over the edge of the ship, where if it was just a wave crashing onto it.
Yeah.
And some of the splashes of water are circular, as opposed to just puddles.
But I really appreciate you empathizing with me about that dream. But I think we have a situation. I don't.
It's weird that none of the crew are out here,
like at all.
I don't run ships, but I would figure somebody should be out here.
Well, not just that. Like, look at this. It looks like somebody's dragging. Like somebody was carrying something. Something was taken. Like this water, the seaweed. This shouldn't be on the ship. See?
Does it look like it's going in a particular direction, DM?
No. if you were to do anything, almost straight lines, but it could be back and forth across the ship. It's not one direction. It's just areas of sort of movement. And you could see it going towards either side of the ship.
Yeah. All right.
Rian, do you want to
Go for
join
it.
the group now that you've got sort of Tobin's armor sort of attached onto it? You can see Claude and Bo chatting there. Do you want to go over and get in on this conversation, or are you just happy hanging out with the Tobins?
Well, would she have heard anybody's concern at this point?
Yeah, you're not too far away. You know,
Okay.
it's not wild and rough weather. There's no huge big crashing waves. You're not too far away.
We'll wander over then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shout out to Tommy. Tommy, where are we?
I mean, Tommy like points towards the light. I mean, that has to be the lighthouse of Luskin. And Tommy kind of sees you guys like mingling together, and he's getting very much that like manager crew is talking about the manager type thing, and he started to get like very uncomfortable. Like, oh shit, everyone knows I fell asleep, didn't they? Oh no, where's the freaking crew? This is not how I wanted this to start. What, sleep? I would love some sleep. I've been doing this all night.
No, how long were we asleep? You were at the wheel.
Yeah. Oh, you guys slept. Yeah, definitely for a while.
Days?
Days? What? I'm not dazed.
Well, if we're in Luskin, isn't it like that was all the way up the coast?
Wasn't it like a 9-day trip?
Some say I make really good time. I think I'm doing really good at this.
Where is everybody? What happened?
Tell when to go get the crew. They must have slept in or something. Trust me, they'll be up here soon, and we'll be good. Everything will be good. Tommy's spiraling. He's in a bad. He's very. It's bad.
Can I hear any of this?
By the way, Storm. Please keep an inspiration dice on it, because Tommy's scrambled excuses are perfect, especially the intentionally misunderstanding dazed versus dazed. So yeah, please take an inspiration dice for that.
Thank you.
Can I hear any of that?
No, muffled, because you're kind of down a couple of levels. You can hear Tom. You can hear what some of the, because of the positioning. You know where Tommy was standing, and his voice is kind of high pitched, because he's like the reason is this, the reason is that, so you kind of know Tommy's speech pattern whenever he's being inventive with the truth.
Inventive.
Other than that, you can't tell who's talking, because it's Bo, it's Claude, it's just somebody up there.
Are you lying? No, I'm inventive with the truth.
Yeah.
Like a mad scientist. I'm inventive with the truth.
I mean, he's our captain. I gotta trust him right now. Is there? Hey, where's the navigation? Like, where's you guys have a compass on board, Tommy?
Yeah, we marked it down. If you go down into my into the captain's quarter, there's a map there. We have the compass, the level, and we mapped everything out. And clearly, it's perfect because we're almost there. Tommy just continues to point towards that light.
I'm gonna go double check on. I'm gonna go check on that, make sure, just because nobody else is around to check.
Yeah, if you happen to pass any of the crew, especially Vulcan, just send them up here so we can get some of this stuff tied down. Get really get going.
Voltron. Yeah, Voltron. Where is he?
So
this is the Arc 2 version of Tommy's intentional misnaming from the first one, where it's like Tommy Townsend, Timmy, anything but Tommy. Okay, so Vukron, Voltron, Velcro, Veltrum,
my boy V,
Viltrumite, Big V, all those ones. Okay, cool. So you know where the quarters are. We'll come to you in 1 second. Sorry, you were saying something.
So I want to go back up, because I hear the muffle. I want to go back up and tell him that there's nobody down there, but I want to go with the intention of going back down to like look around.
Okay, so it's more like you go up the stairs, you're at that doorway. So you go up the stairs, as you come to that doorway ready to shout out, Bo is basically walking in through that doorway at the same time. To your left, which is in front of Bo, is the door to the captain's quarters where that map is. So basically, as you're ready to shout out, Bo is walking in.
Okay. I look at Bo. I was like, there's nobody down here. He wanted me to grab Velcro, but I don't know where the heck he is.
Who's Velcro? I'm looking for Voltron.
Same person, I think.
Oh, yeah, Tom.
Who's on
What do
first?
you mean there's nobody down there?
There's nothing there. Let me go tell Tommy, and then because he's
Yeah,
a little out of
he's
sorts.
Is he? I mean, he seemed pretty vigilant up there at the helm.
He has no spatial awareness.
I don't know, but
I was not even close to this quarter. You had me go get people.
Yeah, well, captains are captains. So I think it's the power's going to his head.
Would
personality trait for Tal is grumpy when woken. So yeah, definitely grumpy. He's definitely been the grumpiest so far. Never mind the request. Yeah.
Do you see anything?
And I don't like being on boats either.
You don't.
That's true. You don't. Yep, you don't. Very good.
Oh, that's right. Because of. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I literally thought
I forgot about your situation.
Because of the slavery,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little hiccup that we had.
The Marcel slavery bracket. Flawed.
Well, is there? Could you see the sun up there at all? I know it's foggy, but do you know where? Could you see anything?
I saw light, but that was like a very faint light, but it was just pretty much all fog.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get a compass to make sure we're at least going in the right direction. I mean, we can't really see anything to navigate, but at least we might be able to figure out which way we're headed.
Okay, head down there, and then I'm gonna tell Tommy what's going on, that there's nobody up here, and then
right.
I'll be back down in a second.
Yeah. Hey, wait. Were you asleep? Were you were you a part of the dream too? Did you have the same dream?
Bro, I have no clue what's going on.
Okay.
I was very heavy, sleeping, and then I wake up in a crow's nest. I don't even know how I got there, and then immediately have to jump back down. I don't know.
Man, you're having a day, huh? I woke up. There was I had a. Rusty was, me and Rusty were hanging out. He was purring. It's pretty, purring.
I guess. Does that make you jealous that Rusty and that Bo were hanging out?
Jerry.
Get out of my face, Bo.
Whoa. Okay.
Whoa.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I love you, and we haven't even talked about the dream that we had.
Yeah, well, that's what I just asked you, but you went off on me. You seem. I think you might need some coffee, buddy.
No, I think I need the opposite of coffee. I think maybe some more nip.
Snickers. Well, go see Rusty. He might have some. I'm out. I'm out.
How would you know that? I mean, what do you know about Rusty? You don't know nothing.
You don't know him like I do.
Just saying, he was a supplier. Remember, we got him at the tavern when everybody was freaking out.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's still here.
You didn't give him a belly rub, did you?
No, that's not my place. Okay. We're not there.
Yeah, you're not there. Remember that.
I'm gonna tell at that moment while you're thinking about what's sort of happening there, your stomach is grumbling. You're thinking about what might be a potential solution for it. Your stomach does grumble a little bit because you have a memory of fish cupcakes, chocolate fish cupcakes. So you start to remember that. But if you are looking for a snack, you have your rations on you.
Okay. I think I need to take a bite of something. Maybe is there a Snickers in there? I'm not
Because
quite
you're not
myself.
yourself. Because you're not yourself whenever you're yeah. Not a sponsor.
What you could be.
Yeah.
Today's
So
sponsor of this D&D
we would love,
podcast,
We would love the sponsor.
Snickers. Hungry.
The
Why
official
wait?
snack of this world.
All right, let me
okay.
take a bite of something real quick in the middle of all this. So I take a bite of something and I start to calm down.
Okay.
And then I just reach out to give
the way you would describe the food would be unextraordinary. It's just perfectly unextraordinary food quality. It does exactly what it's supposed to. It is nowhere near as adventurous of a taste as chocolate fish cupcakes or any of the other flavors. It just is a ration.
Okay. Sounds
How
good.
about Bo? For the first time in these sessions, am I hungry?
Yeah, you could be hungry if you want to go looking for your rations.
No, I have priorities. I'm gonna head. All right, I'm heading to the. I'm gonna head to the cabin. I'll let hunger be damned.
You might have some munchies.
Yeah.
You might be having a little bit of the munchies. So
I'll see if there's a snack in Tommy's room.
All right.
I'm not going to check your own rations. No.
No, I mean we're going to the
full on take.
We're going to the captain's. I'm going to the the captain's corner. They've got to have good food in there.
Cool. Okay. Fantastic.
Channel with my inner cricket.
I want to give him a hug before he leaves. I just want to apologize for being so angry.
Oh, it's okay, buddy. I appreciate that.
I'm happy you're here. I love you.
Yeah.
Bring
Full
it
embrace. Full embrace.
I'm not me till I had my coffee cup in his hand. Just
okay, fantastic. Bo, accept the embrace from Tal.
Oh yeah, full embrace.
Okay, fantastic. You're embracing, but you haven't actually discussed the dream. You're just you've only just mentioned a dream.
Yeah.
So you're kind of taking this more as Tal being slightly more. His embrace is more about being apologetic for being snippy and hangry and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm feeling pretty vulnerable, so I'm gonna accept it.
You're gonna accept the hug. Okay, cool. I will look forward to the first person who tries to hug Ryan. And yeah, okay. Bo, you are Bo. Double door in front of you. You've got Tal there with you. You want to go into the captain's quarters?
Yeah, I'm gonna go in. There's no reason. I mean, everything's there's no crew, but other than that, are there any? Actually, can I do? Is there anything like any tracks kind of going into any of the mess, if you will?
Underneath Tal's feet. So at the sort of the stairs, that part of the door, not going towards the captain's quarters.
Okay.
But going in the direction of what would be the stairs.
Yeah.
And what you know is the crew's quarters. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna head into the captain's quarters then. Still.
Okay, fantastic. You see a beautiful luxury bed. The sheets have not been made. So no one. It looks like no one has slept in it. Okay. But beautifully made, and a map on almost like one of those architect tables. Where it's at a 45-degree angle, and a bit of a compass and charting of the map. Cool.
Yeah.
So you know that you start off in Daggerford.
Yep.
And you see markings on the board to here. Can you see that where I'm pointing on the mouse?
Just under Waterdeep?
Just
or is that
Waterdeep?
Okay,
Waterdeep.
so
just past where that's the last marking that you see on the map.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bo recognizes where he's at, where that's at.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what you see from that. There's nothing else really to see on it. Everything that's been marked on the map stops there.
Is there a physical compass like a north, south, east, west?
Yeah, a small one maybe up here. There's one of those charts where it's like
I just meant like a physical, like a hand, like a.
Yeah, no, there is as well. There's one drawn on the map, and there's just a standard one here as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up and see, kind of like figure out which direction
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick it up and take it outside to figure out which direction we're headed.
Okay, fantastic. Cool. You make your way out there.
I guess I
Tal
don't need to
is-
do that
is-
because I can
Tal is
figure out.
there.
Sorry.
No, you work it out. I'm fine. You can just think that out while I'm sort of giving the description there.
Yeah.
Tal, you're still at the door. I know you were sort of thinking of potentially going back downstairs to look around again. You can let me know in a minute or two if you do that or if you're looking for anything. As you can kind of hear Bo walking back out from the captain's quarters towards Claude, Rain, Tobin, and Tommy up at the wheel. So actually, because the group is there, I'll ask Tel quickly what he's sort of thinking. Tel, is there anything you're looking for down there? Because we can kind of do your part, and then I imagine you can take your findings and bring them upstairs and talk to everybody rather than splitting it out.
So what I want to do is just run up, tell Tommy real quick, say, hey, nobody's down here. Come back down the steps, the captain's quarters.
That
Okay, cool.
So I yell at Tommy, hey, Tommy, there's no one here.
no, what? That's not possible. They're definitely there. Tommy like starts to walk away from the wheel, and then it's like, oh shit, he comes back to the wheel.
It
Claude,
starts to go
Claude,
whenever you let go of it. Yeah.
Claude, come here real quick, please.
Do you have an anchor? I feel like we should stop.
Yeah, but
We can't see where we're going.
yeah, I can see. There's a light. Claude, come here. Tommy is very panicky. In his head, the crew has taken the rowboat and has abandoned the ship and abandoned it. And this is his first time as a cat. He is freaking out. Claude, come here. Claude, come here. Uh-oh.
Sorry, you're on mute.
I'll jog. Claude jogs up the stairs to the captain's
Deck.
post.
Yeah.
As he's going, just run by the side of the ship and kind of he holds his arm out into the fog, and I'll cast Divine Sense.
Okay.
To see if I sense anything about this fog that's divine or evil or fiendish.
Okay, good use of that spell. There is something unusual about it. Not maybe overt, not maybe explicitly evil, but there is definitely a mixture of the natural fog and another energy to that.
All right, I'll get to Tommy and say, hey, there's something in this fog. It's not all natural.
Yeah, fog's a really weird thing, and the thing about it, and the thing about I'll figure out the fog, and he's doing that very much thing where he has shuffled you into his place and put your hands on the wheel. And he's like, and the thing about the fog is like, I'll definitely figure that out as soon as I go see the crew. And you see that little dim light over there? It's very easy. You keep your hands right here and just keep going towards that. And Tommy immediately walks away from you, and he's going down the steps and he's marching downstairs because he's about to rip somebody a new one. Because in his head, there's no way the crew left, but he's heading downstairs. But he did the very quick talking and moved you into position without really explaining anything. And yeah, you have the wheel. But he's confident
Well,
that
I'm the captain now.
I have to come to the ship.
Yeah. Okay, Tommy, as you're coming down the stairs, there's almost a kind of literal passing in this hallway. Bo's coming out of the captain's quarters. Tel is going back towards the crew quarters, and Tommy's coming down those stairs all kind of behind him. So you're not quite meeting at the same time because Tel will be a little bit towards the stairs. But Tel, you can hear what Tommy and Bo say to each other if you decide to turn around and add to the conversation. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. Tommy and Bo meeting the doorway.
I see him going.
Everybody realizes that Rian had taken the opportunity to step away to join the group, and then everybody just left her.
Left.
So she really feels like the awkward kid who joined the party, and everyone went, I don't want to talk to this kid, and they walk away. So Rian is still there with Tobin, as everybody else is busybodying around the place.
Claude's still around. I mean, he's up there. He's still
Claude's
within eye
Claude's
shot.
up in the no, Claude's up in the captain thing. Like, Rian walked over, and Bo went, I'm going to go this way. Tommy told Claude to go up that way. Tommy's way downstairs. Tel's down the stairs after coming down the thing. And Rian's just got her and Tobin. So, yeah.
But she does have Tobin.
Rolls her eyes.
She has the best deal.
He's in good company.
Wait. She
She
came
is
over to
not
where
a-
Claude and Bo were, so Rusty's
Yeah.
there too. too.
Yeah, so that's right. Rusty's
He's
asleep.
asleep though.
Rain is probably one of the few people that doesn't actually mind being on their own. So she's like, yeah, you know, I'd begrudgingly kind of come over, but you know, it's up to her if she's offended or doesn't care. So
Do I notice now that people are starting? There's like these mysterious things popping up. Do I notice the seaweed on the deck? Because I noticed it in my room.
yeah. So you were kind of sleeping on that different part of the deck as well by the side. Yeah, you see the seaweed. It's up to you whether you think it's suspicious or not. You do have the background with the air, genasi, and the comfort with the water, as well as additional senses that you're starting to pick up on because of this connection that you are further exploring with regards to you and Kasera, with regards to that sort of air and water component in there. So you can sense as much or as little as you like.
I'm gonna pick up some of the seaweed and just kind of feel if there's any sort of magical or something off about it.
Yeah, if anything, what you can tell by the seaweed is that while some parts are wet, they were only the parts that were touching an existing, say, puddle of water. Other parts of the seaweed have dried or are almost crusty. So not all of the seaweed that you see on the deck is fresh, wet.
Rain's gonna take a bite and try to see if there's even further things to detect.
Cool. So the same Rain that touches the birthday cake that nearly kills her decides to bite the seaweed on the thing. It's always good to see character development and lessons being learned. And you get a very strong, just salty, alkaline taste to this. You do have a little bit of thing. You know what? This has got quite a strong taste. That if I was to wrap this around some rice, maybe with little bits of fish, I could be onto something here. So Rain has potentially discovered the use of seaweed as a additional food source and potentially has invented sushi.
Whoa.
Well, she's kind of been hearing everybody talk about a dream, and she's gonna try something. Once again, we're just trying things. Can I use message on Tobin?
Of course you can.
Well,
so you want Tobin to have a message that nobody else can hear? Is that correct?
well,
I'm just saying because Tobin is beside you, you
can
just talk to him. But but you want him
I'm
to
just
really
wondering if
understand
he would be able to cast back, like, even just imagery
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
of like
Okay.
an
You know what?
answer.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with this sort of additional bond that you have with Tobin. Yeah. And some of the clues might be body language based.
Yeah.
Or a dog's perspective of the world, sort of imagery.
Lots
you're
of
not
black and
necessarily
gray.
going to see it exactly the way a DM would describe it. Put it that way.
Color was the
Just ask
shirt?
Tobin
Gray.
if he saw anything in the last.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Give me a. Remember, you're speaking to a dog,
Yes.
right? Give me like one or two questions at most that you want a dog's perspective answer on.
Make sure you lead with who's a good boy.
This is the stuff of why I love being a DM. This is why I love improv stuff. It's like, go on. I told Storm today I was feeling all nice and organized today, and I can always depend on a group to go, what did I not have notes on? What did the dog think happened?
I can ask Tobin to track or show where the sailors are.
Okay. So first question of that, depending on what we're going to do, we'll go with let's say Tobin's attention span is like 2 to 3 questions. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's because you are really paying attention. You give him lots of cuddles. He's really happy to sort of help you out. Not quite Genie with 3 wishes, but there's only so much I could do. Okay, so what he's going to do is you're going to see him basically running back and forth across the ship, quite excited, to either side of either edge of the ship. He's just going from one edge of the ship, stopping, looking, like out to the water, run over to the other side, stop, look out over the water, and come back to you. And if there's any sign of confusion for him, that's all he sort of repeats again. So same act. He's gonna run. He's gonna sprint to one end of the boat, look out, look back at you, almost like, run over to the other side, getting your attention.
My only other question for Tobin is if he senses danger.
If he says no, he don't. No,
okay.
He's there. He's just gonna sit beside you. There doesn't seem to be anything worrying him at the moment.
So I'll just walk over to the side and kind of look over the side of the ship and see if I see anything.
Yeah, you just see the water. You see fog and you see water. You don't hear anything other than sort of normal crashing of water up against the side of the boat. And you've got Tobin's sort of input on things, and you've got that little bit of a clue as well when it comes to the seaweed that's on the ground.
Rian might need some time to think and just ponder.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Cool. Tommy, Bo, meeting each other at the sort of, let's call it the first set of double doors, the one that connects to the main actual poop deck of the ship. And you are right beside the set of stairs that Tell has just started to go down as well, so Tell can hear conversations if he chooses to listen out for them. And Tell, you can tell you are able to discern very clearly that it is Tommy and Bo there because they're close to you, and it's just like hearing sound around the corner.
So I am going to turn around as they're passing each other. First, I want to apologize to Tommy. Tell him, I was just a little angry. I'm sorry for jerking your wheel.
Damn it. I gotta play Tommy. Tommy very much blows it off. He's very locked in on his crew, and he's like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. And like, as much as you're trying to be nice, Tommy is too locked in that his crew is messing this up for him, and kind of just walks past both of you.
Okay, I'll do it again.
And Tommy's not exactly like, he just hears I'll do it again, and Tommy in his head thinks that you would go check on the crew for him again, or he's like, yeah, that's awesome, okay, and he's already like bounding down the stairs, like ready to rip the crew up.
I imagine Tommy just came in through. This is exactly how I imagined it, because the way you described it just now, it's just like Tommy just busts through the doors like in a hurry, beelining just down to the stairs, just like Bo just walked like.
Okay.
And I'm gonna fall. I was gonna fall.
Which way did you walk? Sorry, just to confirm, Tommy, which way did you walk? Did you walk towards the captain's quarters or to the crew's deck?
I'm going down to the crew. I'm trying to go down under to the crew's deck.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's how.
In my head, that's where they have to be.
Yeah, just confirm.
I was gonna follow.
Yeah, it's exactly cool. So you're basically third. It's not a marching order, but you're third, Tell's second, and Tommy is first down there. Tommy, stamping down the stairs. Boom, 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 boom. You're basically trying to put on your angry, disappointed dad voice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're like, if this bedroom is dirty, I'm going to, right?
Yeah.
Tommy just walk straight in there.
Tommy's like, where the hell is everybody? We have a ship to have together. And just responded with like a very empty big room. And then I marched to the back of that room. I'm looking into like storage, and like he's like in his head, the crew still has to be here. And he's kind of like frantically searching.
So as you're looking around your crew experience, there's, let's say, half, maybe to 2/3 of the eel. Not the nicest eel in the world. It's not Chesterfield eel or anything out there. It's just all standard supply wholesale eel. is still there in the barrel, and any of the food or fruit that you're seeing there, is most of it is still there. But as I said earlier on, either very ripe or starting to go off.
Yeah, so in Tommy's head, that like if he's making a list of things, it's where the hell's my crew, and oh shit, maybe I didn't stock this or the storage the things the right way, and like is like that never really happened unless really long trips with his former crew. So he's like shit, maybe I didn't properly store, but still is there anywhere else down? Is it pretty much just like a big open space, or is there other little like cabins and stuff down there? Because
no, it's pretty open. You can see
Yeah.
things like maybe crates and stuff that would almost kind of create little sort of alleyways and things. But if anybody was there, like even if there were a couple of boards up, like there's gaps you can see through them. You know, there's no real sort of hiding spot. Certainly not for the sort of the limited crew that you had. You didn't have a full crew anyway. You lost some of them in the battle with Cassera. Other ones
R.I.P.
decided not to join you because they were Captain Zian's loyal ones. But certainly not an area that this sort of level of crew. Tell me, how many people do you think were in this crew, as well as Big B? How many other ones approximately would have been here?
There was probably
like it's called like a minimal crew.
Yeah, I probably only convinced about 8 people outside of this group to be with us.
I think that sounds about right. And this is way too quiet for 8 people to be there.
Yeah,
you know, there's nowhere the 8 people are hiding.
Yeah, Tommy. Go ahead.
Did they abandon ship, Tommy? Where are they?
And Tommy sees like a half drank beer sitting there. He's washes that down, and he has his kind of back to you guys, and you can tell he's just thinking, and he's like, they abandoned ship. And Tommy like just like turns around, and you can see like a very different expression from the anger that you just saw. Tommy's almost kind of going white of like, holy shit, they left me. I'm the only one like of the crew of my ship of that. Basically he went from the highest high to he's a very low right now, and Tommy's just like, they left, they left, they're gone, but I can still get us there. I can get us to where we're going, and I can get more crew. There's always more people. I'm charming. I can get people to come on the boat. And his brain, he's the wheels are just running in his head.
Yeah. Bo, you obviously have been in the captain's quarters.
Yeah.
You've seen that bit of information there. You can see Tommy kind of spiraling.
Yep.
What do you want to say to him?
We are not in Luskin. The last time it was reported, we're just north of Waterdeep.
Just past Waterdeep.
Yeah. That's not possible, because I saw the lighthouse of Luskin. It's just right there. It's right there in the distance.
It's not the It's not the lighthouse. I'm pretty sure we're close to the Mere of Dead Men. Pretty this fog.
But that's like further, like closer to the coast. I was specifically taking us on a route a little further out, and Tommy's just like trying to put the pieces together, and he walks up to you and let me see that map.
Yeah. So basically, you shoot upstairs. Or at least
Tommy. Sorry, I thought he had the map on. I'm sorry, I thought he had the map on him.
He's got the compass.
Oh, you got the compass.
The compass.
Then
as Tommy's sort of frantically scrambling, anything you want to add to it, or do you just want to follow Tommy as he goes into the quarters? What are you thinking?
So I listen in. I'm like, just like so confused as well. I'm like, what is going on here? Where are we? And listening to what they say, I'm gonna go look for more clues around where the crew's going. So I'm gonna head back into the quarters, but I'm gonna take a left this time.
Go. You go to the left and you find the most pristine guillotine. You basically just go. You're basically just on the other side of the room. So there's bunk. So the hammocks and the bunk beds that you saw across the room from you, they're now beside you. There's little sort of bedside tables, sort of small mementos, and you can see the sheets and things, and the odd book. And you can see further down the ship, and you can see areas where, like, there's like a cannon sticking out from the side, and You also know that past that area is where the rowboats would be for the ship. You know, if you go down to the back of the room, set of stairs that brings you back up onto the ship, that's where the rowboats would be.
Okay, I want to head over there, and can I do some kind of investigation check and see if there's any clues to where anybody had gone?
Yeah, is there anything in particular you sort of want to look for?
So
It's okay if
first
you can't think of
before,
anything because I can do stuff, but yeah. Just
so
wanna give you
first
that.
before I go to that area where the rowboats are, I want to see if they left. But first, I want to see if I can pick up any clues in the corridors. Like you said, there was a book or something. Can I check, see if there's notes or anything, something like a journal or something?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. As you're kind of going through the different hammocks and things, you're seeing mementos that you would probably consider to be quite personal mementos for people.
Mhm.
You know, little like hand drawings of either, you know, or like sweethearts in a different port. You can see books that have been well read and, you know, dog-eared. You know, they've basically passed around lots of different people. You know, socks. You know, there's little like clotheslines and places. You know, where like socks are pegged. You know, because they have to keep changing their socks and stuff. Or just because of the wet feet and all. You can still see little bits and pieces like that. Nothing that necessarily says we went X.
Okay.
Just indications of things that you would expect to see in a living quarters for people that are living here.
Okay. So I want to make my way towards the rowboats, see if they're still there.
Cool. As you're basically making your way towards those stairs, Claude at the far end of the ship. So if you were at the back here with the wheel, and Rian, you're right about here. There's a sort of double doors. You've got rowboats at the top. I know there's different areas for rowboats. There's say like Rusty's sleeping in this rowboat, for example. And there's a couple of rowboats up at the bow of the ship. Tell as you get up the stairs, the number of rowboats that you saw when you first got onto the ship is the same number of rowboats as is currently on the ship right now.
So I heard Tommy say he was freaking out that his crew left him. So I noticed that there's no rowboats gone. So I go up to him and let him know that. Like, hey, Tommy, all the rowboats are here. They didn't abandon ship.
That's not possible. Like they're not here. They had to have, but like, Tommy's like, he still doesn't want to admit that he fell asleep. That there was a time that he can't remember.
You have a thought here. Oh, there's more rowboats that are actually at the back of the ship. Maybe they use those rowboats.
We got to. You check the ones in the front. I'll check the ones in the back, and he starts walking that direction to go peer around and see about those boats.
Bo, you gonna follow them as well?
I'm gonna head back up to the deck with Claude and Rian area.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well, everybody
Tommy,
was gone.
Yeah.
Claude's just shouting from the wheel things that he thinks sailors say. Because he's never been on a boat, but he's traveled. Hard to starboard, belay that order, furl the mainsail, and he's just kind of wondering where everybody went, but he's talking to himself.
Yeah, love it. And you're having fun, and then you have a quick memory of going, I wonder if Captain Zane gave these orders on behalf of my dad that I got him to get slaves for. And you get really sad for a moment as you go, oh, actually, boats maybe aren't as fun of a thing as you see Tal and Tommy running past you. You're like, oh, yeah. Oh shit.
I just clam up as everybody like comes back.
Sorry, the one moment Claude's having fun and I just shit all over it. Do you remember when you were a war criminal or related to one? Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're not.
No. I will take more family members from you. Tommy, you and Tal, you basically you go up the stairs. You run past Claude. Claude's shouting his orders. Yo, we're starboard. Blah blah blah. And you run to the back of the boat and you look over the edge to where you know the rowboats should be. There should be 2 rowboats over the edge of the ship. Yeah.
Mhm.
You look over.
Yeah.
There are still 2 rowboats on that end of the ship.
Is Tal, are you right there with me?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Tommy. Tommy.
Yeah, I'm right behind you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thought you were watching them while you were awake, driving the boat.
Yeah, this is not possible. This is not possible. And Tommy is just so left with nothing else he can think to do, and he's like, all right, we get to the lighthouse and we dock and we try and figure this out, or I get a new crew. We get a new crew. It's not that hard to get people, like, right? And he's kind of talking at you but looking past you, Tell, and it's just like it's just like he's like, all right, my next best answer is to get back to the land. Get back to land. So I'm gonna walk back over to Claude and kind of take the wheel back. Claude, I got this. You did wonderful. Everything's gonna be fine. And he kind of just does like a pose of like standing up straight, puffs his chest out a little bit, trying to show confidence that
as you look through the fog, that dim light that you were looking at, once again, you still can't see the source of the light, but this dim light that you're looking at is now quite a bit closer to you, and you are still moving in this general direction, and you're starting to hear maybe just like things like seagulls. You can tell that you're getting closer to land. A few more seagulls, like little dolphins and things in the water, fish and stuff. You can hear a little bit of activity in there as well.
Yep, definitely not far off now.
Yeah, cool. Bo, you went back upstairs. You've gone towards.
Yeah,
Rian
I was gonna go to
Tobin?
I was gonna go back to the wheel area where Claude and I guess meet
Cool.
Tommy up there. And I'm gonna finally
Rian,
look.
Just so we don't have to do the whole. And then did Rian get told this? Rian, do you want to come up to the wheel, or do you want to keep your me time?
I guess I'll come up there because I'm not.
Sorry, you
I
acted that so well.
Puzzled
I
out
generally thought you didn't hear me. Yeah.
what Tobin was trying to say.
Okay, cool. You're staying down there. Okay, cool. Bo, you're up. You're at the wheel. Claude has got a mixture of giddy happiness and almost like shame, generational trauma, shame. And Tommy and Tell is there. Tommy's looking distracted. Tell's a mixture of emotions. He was apologetic. He was feeling hangry. He still hasn't had a snack. I think have you had a snack yet, Tell?
I had a bite.
Roll for snack.
Oh yeah, you had the unextraordinary.
Extra
snack.
Unextraordinary.
Yeah, unextraordinary. Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool.
Extra unextraordinary.
Cool. Well,
I look at that compass finally.
Yep.
See which direction we're headed.
So you are basically. Give me a sense. Are you, for example, looking at the light just to give me a landmark or something? Are you pointing the compass towards the light?
I'm gonna point the. Yes, I'm gonna do that.
If you don't mind, if you could point that, because otherwise I'll be getting into bearings and like I'm already.
Oh yeah, I was just more like I would which.
Give me something.
Pointing it in the front of the direction of the boat. I'm trying to figure out which direction. Are we heading north, east, south, or west?
So you are traveling east.
Okay, guys, we're heading towards the coast.
Yeah,
exactly where I knew I would take us.
God, you didn't do like I'm the front of the boat. I'm going. You are northeast. You're northeast. Yeah.
Northeast east. All right, guys, we're heading northeast, and I'm pretty sure according to the map that I saw in your quarters, we're going to the Mere of Dead Men again.
That's not. I mean,
has anybody been confused when he says again?
Mm-hmm.
What do you
But
like?
before we get there, I just want to like compliment Claude. I was like, "Hey, I heard those commands. You sounded like a true captain there, buddy." Just give him a pat on the back.
Does
I'm a
Tommy
little
overhear it?
embarrassed, critic.
Do you say? Does
Yeah, Tommy can hear it. Yeah.
Tommy hears it? Oh, Tommy's up. Tommy's getting even worse because now he thinks he's also gonna get his captain thing taken away by Claude. Tommy is fucking spiraling. It's so hard, but he's doing that thing where he has a very stern face and he's just pointing. He's just looking forward.
I am going to lose my job to a non-captain.
I lost my crew. I lost my captain. I'm gonna lose my ship.
It's my ship and I'm getting demoted.
Yeah.
I double down, Claude. I think you could be captain of this ship.
There's a lot that goes into that.
Claude's embarrassed, but he
you
stands
need,
a little.
on
you need
board.
10 years of experience. When you're trying to find a job and you're fresh out of school, oh, we look for someone with 3 years of experience. How can I have 3 years?
It's an entry level job.
Yeah.
Why do I need to get 3 years experience? Okay. Right. Cool. Bo, compass, point east. You are convinced where we're going.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Bo is convinced where we're headed. We're headed to the coast and back to the mirror. Dead men. At least that's what I think.
He's
He's gonna get quiet.
what does that even mean? Tommy's just looking for answers.
Bo
Anything.
kind of went quiet. Yeah, if anything, Tommy's going to be even more distracted because now people aren't even responding to his questions.
Tommy's about to run this ship
Captain
off
Canning David's not gonna be
into the
American.
coast. Just
Kill us all.
I'm gonna TPK the squad because it's just all downhill for Tommy.
I'm going to go find a kraken.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Rian, you're hearing the sort of kerfuffle going on there at the moment. You're still trying to decipher what exactly Tobin was saying. Is there anything else you want to ask him? Now that sort of a little bit of time has passed, and Tobin, you can almost Tobin stop walking back and forth on this because like he's tried to point to you like 3 times now. You asked him where did they go, and he's done some pointing. And I forget. Oh, there's no danger nearby. Anything else you want to ask him?
I'm trying to think of what else I can ask a dog.
Just ask the question and I'll give you a dog answer. You don't have to worry about a dog. He's like, and then you can ask the question, the dog will understand it. The dog's ability to answer you is where I'll be creative. So don't worry too much about the perfect question.
Well, I can't figure out what he's trying to say about where the people went.
So Tobin learned how to write during the time. The armor gave him calligraphy skills.
I mean,
there's a little forgery kit in the thing, and he's just got his paws going.
This is your chance. A question that's been bothering me for years is who did let those dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Ooh, ooh.
I guess the only other thing I can think of to ask him is if he was asleep.
Good question. Okay. So you're starting to get a little bit, this one's a little bit different. You're getting a little bit of a thought picture in your head. So this is where the messages sort of work. You haven't just said it out loud because you're using message. You're getting a response back in dog vision. Okay. You're now for a couple of moments seeing his memory. You're almost kind of seeing it through his eyes. Okay. So everything's much lower down. Everything's quite big. You know, he's not as big as a crate, so you can kind of see him walking around and sniffing and stuff. Okay. So, first of all, you see everybody's asleep. Tobin's sniffing around. Everybody's asleep. You can see that Tommy was asleep at the wheel. You can't find Tell. You can smell him, but you can't see where he is, right? Because he's a little bit of a distance away, but you can't see him as Tobin. Bo and Rusty are having a nice cuddle, but there's a really weird fungal smell off them, according to Toby, like a burning fungus type smell. He hasn't really seen it before, but he has for some reason makes him angry. Like he gets a slight picture of a cat's. It just makes him think of cats and it makes him a little bit angry for a second, okay? But he goes along, right? And he sees Claude asleep on the shield, and he sees the crew kind of walking back and forth, and some of them aren't the nicest to him. They're not mean to him, but they're not really paying attention. No one's giving him any cuddles. They're just more ignoring him because they've got a job to do. Okay? The next memory that comes into Tobin's head, it's now bright. The crew are still walking around. You guys are still asleep. Tobin's starting to get hungry. He starts to eat the rations in your bag. And he finds his armor. But it's slipping off him a little bit, but he's climbed into it, and you can feel the tail wagging as he's found this armor. You can feel a little bit of a shake behind you. So his tummy was starting to rumble, and he had some food. He had your rations. You see nighttime. He's snoring. He's having a great sleep. Wakes up the next day. You guys are asleep. The crew are still walking around. He's starting to get hungry again. He eats Bo's rations. Then he is sleeping. And he's hunkered down. And he's in like a box or a crate, and he hears a lot of shaking, a bit of shouting, splashing, and then nothing. He wakes up the next day. You guys are sleeping. He can't see anybody else. And as you can imagine, dog priorities are sleeping, eating. So you as the human are seeing no other people, but these people weren't giving him rubs anyway, so they don't exist as far as he's concerned. But you don't see them anymore. You can see you guys sleeping. His tummy's starting to get really sore again. And it's still getting really sore. And he eats Claude's rations. And then you kind of falls out of that. That's not everything that was in his memory, but it's almost like the parts that if you were looking through his memories, you were kind of picking out the parts with that. So there's no clear indication of time or anything in there of exactly how that was. But from Tobin's priority, there were people there. You guys were sleeping. Nobody was giving him rubs. He was getting hungry. He was eating. No one was giving him attention. He was sleeping. There was a bit of sound. He's hungry. He eats. Nobody's giving him rubs. He's sleeping. He's hungry. Nobody's giving him rubs, etc. Right? And he's got this really, really nice armor. So that's kind of what you kind of pull out of that. So these aren't like perfect crystal clear ones. These are almost kind of like things flashing in your mind. And I know I'm doing the DM thing where I'm describing things, but these are almost like flashes and dog messages coming back into your head.
Call out to whoever's on the deck.
As your emotional support animal is able to happen.
Is everybody on the deck again?
Everybody's on the deck. Tell is up there. Tommy's at the wheel. Tommy's really, really upright, and like the stiff upper lip is really going there, but his face is quite red and flushed. You're not sure if it can't be the sun. There's no sun real coming through, so it's not sunburn. And Tell is there with his shoulder on Claude's back, giving him like a pat on the back. And Bo is looking really confused because you can see him. He's kind of off at the side of the ship or near the bow of the ship, holding something out in front.
Rian's just gonna call out, "The crew is gone."
Yeah, they left us.
Duh.
No.
No, the crew is gone. Something happened. I was able to get some flashes from Tobin. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like we were asleep for days, and the crew something happened. There was a lot of crashing, and then they were gone. Poor Tobin.
So everybody has just heard that Rian thinks she can talk to Tobin. for the first time. This is the first time everybody has picked up on the idea that Rian, and everyone's like, did I hear that right? I'm feeling really, really dizzy. She has had periods of, let's call it, surly, somber, very internal, thoughtful moments, whether she's wearing her really cool headdress that she's still wearing at the moment, and she's had these sort of very contemplative moments, and everyone has just heard in the confusion, including Tommy, with his distress at the moment, that she seemingly is speaking to Tobin, or at least communicating relatively complex messages with Tobin.
And
How does
Tobin
anybody
was
react
trying to
to that
like
news?
show me. He was like running back and forth. I think the crew went overboard somewhere along the way a couple days ago.
They left us.
Plus everybody,
Probably because you're.
as far as you're concerned, everybody went to sleep yesterday. Never mind the depth of the dream, or who remembers the dream, or who thinks it's real, or who thinks it's connected, or whatever. So not only did you seemingly go to sleep yesterday, you had a super intense dream or experience throughout that, and now a dog is communicating with an air genasi in amongst this, what Claude knows to be a mixture, a hybrid sort of natural, mystical fog, as we are going towards, we don't know whether it's Waterdeep, the Mire of the Dead, Luskin, it could be any other place. We've got Neverwinter on the board. We've got a completely different land or world. We've just nothing.
Tommy, do we need to dock and figure out where we are? Should we continue sailing?
Yeah.
Seems dangerous. Maybe.
He says as he ignores Rian's communication with the dog.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Did she just say that she talked to the dog?
I just assume Rian's a druid now. She's so mysterious. I never really knew.
And wait, she said everybody was asleep?
Yeah.
Even Tommy?
Does anybody remember an amulet? Does anybody have an amulet? Do we remember this amulet? I had an amulet.
What amulet?
Yes, Rian's
Well,
thinking
it's gonna.
he's
He
having
hears that.
weird actual memory here. Yeah.
You mean my grandmother's amulet?
I'm gonna do a minor illusion and just be like, this one.
That. What? How do you know about? So wait, Claude, that dream that we had. Did you guys? Everybody else? I know you were in the dream.
Yeah,
Whenever...
you dragged us into the mud and the swamp, dude.
The hag and those piles of vines. The amulet.
Yeah.
The amulet.
And there was that devilish kind of guy that
Bartok
played music too.
The
or am I
Noobs.
thinking of the other guy? Yeah.
Everything's coming together, like Rian and Claude.
Back.
Her parts they're starting to eerily match now.
Do I have?
Tommy, is there anything that you guys are sort of adding from the dream that?
Tommy's having an existential crisis.
Tommy's in such a bad mental state. He still does not want to admit that he was asleep, even though all these dream stuff they're talking about makes sense. He just stays quiet. He's very.
And even though Rian just said everybody was asleep.
Yeah, he's already heard the accusation. Pell going, even Tommy was asleep. Yeah.
Do I?
He's a fraud, everybody.
Do I still have my loot? No.
Do we all remember that we were in that, or just Bo and Claude?
You tell me.
Yeah.
How does your character react to dreams? Do they remember dreams? Did it stand out?
Yeah, I remember because I went and hugged up Bo. You know, I said that I'm glad you're here. And
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
you in
that's
the
right.
dream.
Everybody
I
but
was
Tommy
like,
has admitted
oh.
there has been a dream. Yeah.
Oh, the amulet.
Yeah, you can't remember a dream if you don't sleep. That's stupid.
The amulet that controlled the devil dude.
Now,
Oh,
what
and
do we
side
do
note,
with that
did
information?
that count as a long rest that we were asleep? Because all like my spell slots are pretty.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
You will find out. You definitely had a long rest.
Do you remember who had the amulet last? Is that still
Me.
you had it? Do you have it?
No.
Have you checked?
Do we have
No.
any of our gear? Hold on. Do we have any like? I know I don't have George's loot. Do I have my grandfather's loot? Do I have
Well,
anything?
you have what you had when you left Daggerford.
Yeah, which I had George's loot.
Yeah,
But
I never said you didn't have George's loot.
Oh, that's what I asked. I said, do I still have my loot?
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry, I thought there was. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking like the grandfather's one or the banjos and stuff. No.
Yeah. No, the magic
No,
one
that
he didn't
would
figure
be
out how to
paradox.
attune with.
And I ain't dealing with paradoxes right now. I ain't that good of a DM.
I didn't have it on me. I looked down. I see Rusty was laying. That's George's loot's down there. Okay.
Yeah.
All
wait,
right.
wait, we have what we left Daggerford with? I had a freaking crew.
All right.
The crew one. Tell me, what's your thing? Are you still in the thing of something happened, or are you taking this really personally that the crew abandoned you? Did you do something wrong? What's your sort of thoughts?
No, Tommy fully believes that somehow the crew it left the ship, and because because the boats are still here, he thinks that maybe during his sleep he drifted closer to the coast than he thought, and that everyone jumped off and swam away from his ship, and he's pissed. Especially that Velociraptor might have left him and is just retaking it. I'm just trying to think of another V name.
Velocity.
No, but just like that everyone left him. He's hurt and it's just spiraling. That he's messed up as his first time being a captain.
Yeah, you got this. You're definitely taking this personally. Okay, cool. Pell, you said that even Tommy was asleep. Do you want to add on to that? Do you want to question further the let's call it the input of a canine, interpreted by an urgent assay?
Very loyal canine.
So thinking back to the dream, I don't remember Rusty Dusty being there, so I'm curious where he was. So I make my way towards him.
Yeah. Cool.
So I was like, I tell everybody, hey, she didn't say anything about Rusty being with us. Well, I mean, you guys don't remember Rusty being with us, right? Let me go get with him.
And there was nothing in Tobin's flashes that pointed out Rusty being any different than the rest of us, as far as sleeping.
Well. Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the time, he was basically snuggled up beside Bo. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make my way towards Rusty and talk to him.
Cool. How are you gonna wake him up? You gonna wake him up like a jealous, like jealous person, like throw water on him, or are you gonna? Where were you last night? Why do you not share dreams with me, you bastard?
I do wake up. I'll wake him up. I'll kind of walk up slowly and be like, kind of jealous. Be like, hey, you snuggling up with other people here?
And he wakes up. He's like, dude, you should have got in on this stuff. I don't know where you went. Like, woo, like, do you remember the stuff we like smoked like back in Magville? Like, this stuff was even stronger than that. I really should have maybe diluted that a little bit more, but I had this really, really weird dream. It was, oh man, it was so intense.
Oh yeah? What was it about? Bo? Was it about Bo?
No, No, like I was like flying, and I was like psychedelic colors, and I was like flying through, like mountains, and but they were like weird colors, and I was looking. Actually, to be honest, I was looking for you. I think that's what I was doing. I think I was like looking like I think you're gonna be like my wingman, but you weren't there, which made me kind of sad. But it was a pretty cool dream.
You know anything about this crew being missing?
No, but we're going to Luskin, so we've got about what 7-8 days. Got out of Daggerford yesterday. I'm sure. I'm sure they'll turn up. Yeah, until we get to Luskin. Yeah, because
As the crow
that's how long
flies.
it takes to. Yeah, exactly. That's how long it takes to get from Daggerford to Luskin.
Okay.
So we only got on the ship yesterday, and
yeah. So
it takes about 8-9 days. Tommy looks like a pretty competent captain, as far as I can tell. So
I'm not getting that vibe.
Oh, well, you know him better than I do, but I thought he was. And it's just like a week or so out in the water, get away from everything happened in Daggerford, and now that Captain Zian is gone, and and he's kind of looking at both of our bruises around the necks and the wrists and stuff, and just kind of just feel lighter. I feel like I just feel like I got a bit of closure. The ones that sort of took us. I don't really want to get into that at the moment, but I just feel lighter, and I just wanted to celebrate a bit, and but yeah, it feels nice.
It is. I kind of lose my edge a little bit. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is nice being a little free from that, for sure.
Yeah.
I think you should come join us, because the whole crew's gone. We don't know what happened to them, and we're following some kind of light. We don't know where we are, what we're doing. There's this fog.
And he's sniffing on the air, and he goes, "Well, we're getting closer to land, but
I didn't know that."
Well, you can smell like there's the salt density, and the water is a little bit different. You can smell seagulls and stuff, and you get a faint smell of some fish and stuff. Oh man, I could really go for some fish right now. Yeah,
we're all pretty hungry, but let's
actually, I'm gonna check my rations. I'm gonna check my rations, but yeah, I'll be up there in a second.
Okay. Yeah. And then I run back to Tommy and tell him we're close to land, that Rusty could smell it.
As you get there, you hear Rusty go, "What the hell, my rations? Damn it! Did I sleep eat again? I don't know." How he comes up beside
well, I can throw him what I have left. I can throw him the rest of my rations. I only took a bite.
Okay, cool. Can you do dexterity throw for me, please?
Sure. 8.
Yeah, you miss him. You're kind of throwing it downhill. You miss him. It's not bad enough that it goes off the ship or anything, but he just come on, tell. And he has to go.
Sorry, it's just the driver of the boat. I think he veered off in some weird direction, probably. And
yeah. Before that, Rusty even goes, "It's a captain, the captain of the ship."
Yeah, call him what you want.
Yeah. Nice job, Tommy.
Get no respect around here.
Yeah, and basically, and as he's coming up the stairs, Rusty's coming up, and he's going on a pretty standard. Was it what was the description for the suit? Was it bright dull? Yeah. If there was a feeling, a way to describe that snack, it would be bright dull. Yeah.
Unextraordinary.
Yeah, unextraordinary. But Rusty wasn't there for that, so he wouldn't use a word like that. Cool.
Yeah, we know it sucks. Okay, Rusty.
Hey, whoa! I didn't say anything. It's rations. What do you expect? You know, it's not exactly like it's not like roasted pigeon or fillet of fish. I'm really.
So we invented Velcro, sushi, and fillets of fish today.
And Snickers.
Well, it's Snickers, but it's fish. You know, that's how you prepare it. You know, and he's describing basically how he would cook fish. You know, he gets his claws in and he takes off the skin and has a unique tabaxi way of removing the bones in one go. You know.
Oh, speaking of fish, do I have any cupcakes left? I bet he'd love those.
Oh, I think you gave them to the. Oh, I think maybe you had one or two.
Yeah.
The
Let me throw
guard-
one of those.
How do they keep after a week plus?
So, to answer that question, the chocolates that was on them has dripped a lot. It's melted a lot, so it's very, very on it, and they absolutely reek, especially because they're fish. But Rusty loves them like he is. That has hit the spot.
Okay.
These
But
are
that's good meat
incredible.
chocolate.
He doesn't know that yet.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. But let's say the tabaxi biology of all the little bits, you know. So let's say they got the best balance. They've got the humanoid digestive resilience.
Please don't kill the crew I have left.
Well, if shit goes sideways, I got spare the dying. We're fine.
Spare the dying
Because of the chocolate.
Tobin is beside Rain, and he's really, really looking at the cake that Rusty is eating. And Rusty for a moment is wondering, could you offer a bit to Tobin?
Don't even think about it.
Don't even think about it.
No.
And as he was thinking about doing it, he notices that Tobin has ration crumbs, like on his whiskers and on the front of his coat, and he's going, "You ate my rations."
We left him alone for 7 days. Okay.
What are you talking about?
Did
7
what a
days?
good boy to do.
What are you talking about? 7 days?
Just got on the
Well,
ship
at least
yesterday.
I saw him sleeping, and I thought we explained this. He told me, he showed me that he went to sleep quite a few times, and we weren't waking up, and the crew left. The crew's gone.
Rusty was off the nip.
Yeah,
Well,
Rusty was.
I'm explaining this again.
Yeah. Don't make me repeat myself. For the character that wasn't here.
Tobin. Look at Tobin. You can see how much thicker he is.
He's thick.
He's thicker.
He's thick like a Snickers.
That doesn't happen in one day.
Yeah, but he's not thick. He's had rations on different day. Like you felt and heard the stomach
But didn't he
grumble.
say he was a little bit bigger when I woke up, or was that just because of the armor?
He was heavier because of the armor. He was
Okay.
feeling a little bit heavy because he had the armor on him.
He's busting
He
out the
wasn't.
armor.
He wasn't a fat boy. He didn't eat the rations in like one sitting. Just gonna take the pictures.
Who's a good boy?
He's exhausted because he's overweight and he ran back and forth across the ship. He's like, just panting really heavily. No. He's not overweight. You could see, you get that feeling when he was hungry. He was trying to go as long as he could, but every time he had to go and basically steal rations from people. And you don't know 7 days. Just to sort of clarify that. Maybe Rian's just saying that out loud. You don't know 7 days. You don't know how many days because you didn't get all of the memories, but you did understand the passage of time because of what you saw. I just want to make sure it's. It
There
might
was
be
some
7
amount of
days.
days.
It might be 7 days. It might be more days. It might be less days. It might
There
not
were
be
at
days.
least 3 or 4 times that Tobin went to sleep, and the sun rose and set.
Yeah, as we all know, dogs like to nap. You know, maybe some
Right.
of them were naps. Mm-hmm.
Eat, nap.
Anyway, I'm just intentionally being confusing, because I like mystery and I like confusing the life out of you guys.
Alright.
So okay, cool. Everybody's on the deck. Rusty's finished his chocolate fish cake. Tobin has not been allowed to get any, and there's a slight stare down between Rusty and Tobin as Rusty realizes where his rations went. So, but Rusty's not going to pick a fight with anybody. He's seen the attitude that Rian's given him, and he's not going to argue on that.
Tommy, how far do you think we are from land? I feel like we need to stop and figure something out.
Well,
Hoist the sails.
well, definitely by the smell of it, we're not too far off. Dell also said that Rusty knew that land was coming and told Tommy that. Tommy now also got offended by that of like, oh, I can't tell that the land is. He's like, definitely by the smell, and you could tell by the seagulls that we're not far off. Bo, do you know much about this area? I haven't been really to this exact spot on the coast. Is there somewhere else you think I can dock and we can kind of regroup a little bit?
I mean, it depends on where we're at. I mean, there's a, from what I remember, there was at the north and the south, there were 2 type of almost like stronghold keep things, little areas of refuge, at least real society. But anything inside the mirror, the mirror is, there's nothing. There's nothing. It's not for man.
Well, they must have some kind of lighthouse or beacon type thing, because that's exactly what I'm heading towards.
What I'm gonna. This is the first time I'm looking at that. Can I figure out what I'm gonna try to figure out what that see if I recognize that, because is it the sun or is it like something towards land?
So let's go seafaring knowledge. Well, actually, you know what? You don't know what time of day it is.
No.
The stationary yet slightly growing size of, let's call it the light circle, would indicate to you that it is something stationary that you're moving towards. So let's just say, because that, you know, it's not the sun. Just because, this, even if you're going towards the sun, it doesn't really get bigger, you know, but you're positioned to it. So because it's getting bigger, it's kind of taking up slightly more space, you're moving towards something stationary, or at least moving closer to something, and you're assuming it's stationary because you're in a boat and it's getting bigger.
I don't know. I don't know where we're at, Tommy. So I mean, I guess the only thing we have to do is go towards the light.
You start to hear a
push us
bit
faster.
of you start to hear a bit of a far away kind of bell in the direction of the light.
Land ho!
Basically. And as you're creeping up towards it, you now start to hear like from the land, whoa, 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 whoa.
Top.
As the fog is kind of starting to clear, you are really close to land now. Even though you know where the light is, you're now quickly realizing the light is not at the near edge of this land to where you are.
Drop the anchor! Drop the anchor! And Tommy's trying to do starting to do a hard wheel turn to point the front of the ship to go try to go parallel.
Yeah. Let's go with a strength check, and somebody can assist him if they choose to, because this is a really tight turn. It's quite a big ship. It's going to be a
Can I assist by using gust and like trying to push in the opposite force? And
yes, you absolutely can. Yep.
So
you're doing gust. You're almost doing it like shooting out to the front of the ship, or what way to kind of how do you do
Pushing
this?
back on the sails the other way.
Excellent. Okay, fantastic. Good. That's gonna assist that. So that's reducing the difficulty of this roll. Anybody else helping in any way?
As co-captain, I feel like I should assist Tommy with the
Okay.
the wheel.
Grabbing the wheel. Fantastic. So Tommy.
I have
and
experience.
Claude yeah, Tommy and Claude are at the wheel. Rian is resisting or providing a gust resistance against the seals to kind of push them back. Bo, watching. Tell, watching. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna try to grab onto some rope and just like hunker down because I don't think
Okay.
this is gonna. It doesn't seem like it's
Yeah.
gonna end well.
Okay, fantastic. Tell.
Can I find an anchor that I've been talking about for the last since we started this?
Yes. Tell, you see that there is an anchor. There's a left side and a right side anchor at the front of the ship to kind of slow down. Right.
Choose again.
Yeah, you got to choose which one because this is going to dictate which way the boat steers. You've got a couple. Like you're not like necessarily seconds away because you heard the shout and still a little bit of a distance in the shout. But Tommy, Bo, you guys, your experience is telling you we're probably coming in quite fast towards this based on you've an idea of the length based on the travel of the voice and the sound of the bell. You have an idea of some distance. Tommy, tell, you're going towards the anchor. Do you want to ask Tommy which one to use? Do you want to just plunge the lever on one? Do you want to try to do both of them? What do you want to do?
I think I want to ask Claude which anchor to use. No, I'll ask Tommy.
Yeah.
Both. Drop
Tommy,
them
which
both.
anchor?
Drop them both.
Okay.
Is he gonna be able to drop both of them?
That's a
So
great
basically,
question.
they're both kind of at the front of the bow. So they're basically just like handles that you whack. So he's just going like bam, bam.
We're gonna do it.
Tommy needs an
We're gonna
e-brake
do a
on this
nose
thing.
wheelie.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going over the bars.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad
fantastic.
I'm hunkered down.
Fast and Furious
Yeah.
type bullshit.
Okay. Right. Because all of these things happen, you significantly reduce speed very sharply. Okay. Tommy and Claude, a strength check to not basically bang into the steering wheel in front of you, please.
Just a straight
Just
strength.
flat strength.
Yeah, imagine because basically you're bracing against the wheel. You're trying not to go into it. Okay. It's not really about
Roll
going.
physical.
You're basically just trying not to bump your head and concuss yourself off the steering wheel.
Tommy gets a +0 to this.
13.
Tommy rolled on that one.
Okay. Claude, you brace yourself. Tommy, forehead straight into this big thick steering wheel. You are currently knocked unconscious.
Thank goodness I needed some sleep.
You are absolutely knocked unconscious on this. Okay, bang, hit the ground. Claude, this is your ship now. Tell you have dropped both the anchors, so combine the combination of both anchors, steering it really tight, and Rian's gust, resisting that. Bang, Tommy's out. With that there, okay, really sharp. Tell, you were at the front of the ship, okay.
Okay.
How do you stop yourself going flying over the front of the ship, like falling overboard?
Ooh.
Well, you've got the rope, so you're basically going to figure that out in a second. And Rian, in a second, you and Tobin and Rusty, basically you're just kind of standing there. You're going to roll to basically see if you maintain your footing. Even though you're focused on that, it is a really, yes, you did your gust, but everybody else did their things, which you maybe weren't quite prepared for. So you're going to do a roll as well to maintain your footing. And you can do dexterity if it's more like a, kind of keeping on your toes, or like, constitution if it's like holding yourself, or strength. You can think about that in a second. Tell, how do you want to try to stop yourself being flung right over the bow? of the ship.
I'm gonna try and grab either the handles where I let down the anchors,
Mhm.
or maybe like something. I'm gonna grab something and try to hang on.
Yeah, so in front of you, you've got like obviously the wooden frame of the ship. You've got the handles. Maybe there's some ropes and things there. You're also beside the two lifeboats. So if you want to maybe try to hold on to them, what do you think?
I'm gonna grab. Let me grab the handles where I let down the anchor. I think that was a
Okay.
good idea. So I'm gonna try and grab and hang on to those.
Okay, so two-handed grab. Strength check, please. I've got a score in my head. You do a strength grab for me, please.
13.
Yeah, that's fine. You hold on. You do get shunted into the front of it, so kind of like almost slightly winded as your diaphragm just kind of hits the front edge of the ship. But you're still on, so you're slightly winded, but you're okay. Yep. Rusty, even in his thing, tabaxi reflexes, he's able to hold on still, and he's able to grab the little handle that's on the back of Tobin's armor, because Rian got some armor installed for him that has a little handle on the back that he can basically almost pick him up, kind of like a suitcase, if need be. Okay, so in that split second, his reflexes, even what he's under, he's able to get that, and no hard feelings towards Tobin. Whatever, he just grabs him because it's more important to keep him secure. Rian, tell us how you're trying to stay your ground, and depend on the roll. If it's a bad roll, I'll tell you, there will be a concentration check to see if you maintain the gust that's going the other way. Okay?
Did you say Constitution was one of the options?
Yeah, you can choose, where it's almost just like sheer will.
Okay,
You know,
that's the
I'm
only
going
one
to
I
kind
have
of
for
treat
modifier.
it almost like that, yeah.
And it's a saving throw, right?
Yes, please.
11. That's with a +4.
Okay. Just about your footing is a little bit loose, but thankfully there's no wet patches on the sort of the board or anything around you, so you're able to just hold that on, hold it in place. You maybe have to readjust your foot for a second. You wouldn't have been able to do anything if Tobin needed help, because you barely held on yourself. But thankfully Rusty's there. Okay, cool. Bo, holding on to the ropes. You're
Yeah.
at the front edge of the bow. You've got a compass in your hand. You've got the rope. Split second, go. What are you doing? How are you trying to hold on?
Oh, I was
Sudden
just
deceleration.
yeah. That I saw it coming, and grabbed onto some of the ropes on the side or like anything that would just be like like not hunk, but like
Yeah,
a solid set of ropes like, that are
yeah.
I assume are around on
Like
kind of like wrapped.
How's it wrapped? Is it underneath your arm, around your shoulder? It's not around
Yeah, I
your
was
neck
gonna
or
put it.
anything, around your waist.
No, I'm not gonna entangle myself because that could go bad.
Okay.
What he's just gonna wrap his arm in it, like
Okay. Cool.
in kind of like a loop.
So in this one, you are trying to stay on the ship. Is the main one. That's the basic goal that you have. If you're very close with the roll, might be a little bit of damage because it will burn on your
Yeah.
arm in terms of just where it's placed. Okay, so you
Also,
tell
like
me.
I imagine him like sitting down too. Also, like not like he getting down onto the ground.
Yeah.
So
Plus, you are also an experienced sealer, so this is not the most difficult thing for you. It's more just the suddenness of it. Plus, as you said, you had some indication beforehand.
yeah. Which one are we doing? What is this?
Whatever you tell me, and I'll sort of flavor how you save or don't save.
I'm gonna do Constitution to kind of
Okay.
like withstand because I know I'm not gonna go anywhere. Just don't want it to hurt. I don't want it to hurt.
Yeah.
That's a 7.
Okay.
So
So as I said, you sort of bunker down. You're gonna take a bit of rope burn as it sort of slips through your fingers, slips underneath your arm, so you can get like a significant sort of rash on that. Heat with that, anything that touches your skin is like a skin burn on that, and you do take quite a thump against the edge of the ship. You are down on it, so you're not going to like flip over it, but you are against a low wall and you kind of crash into it a little bit. Okay. Could you roll a d8 for me, please, for damage? A 1d8.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to. 2.
Okay, cool. 2 points of damage. Tommy, you are, as I said, knocked out. Could you roll a d12 for me, please, for damage?
One.
Okay, right. So not too much damage, but you may have symptoms of a concussion later on as we go along, because it was a really solid thump to knock you out, okay? So there might be some concussion-related consequences for that, okay? And your pride is really, really hurt. It took a lot of damage. Your pride took a lot of HP away from that, okay?
I'm still unconscious, right?
You're still unconscious.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask.
There goes Tommy's chance to get into Harvard. Gosh.
Okay.
There goes
cool.
his hockey career.
So basically the boat is slowing down really, really quickly. There's been a hard right turn on that. Not quite as much as you want to, because Tommy's not on the wheel anymore, but Claude at least was there. So at least the ship didn't completely lose control of that if he hadn't been there. So his sea legs, his sea brain kicked into gear, and Claude has helped save the day, unlike others. And basically you're coming into the port, coming in quite hot, but you've significantly reduced your speed, and you are going to basically parallel to this dock, bump up against it. There'll be a proper sort of shake as people were reacting to that. That's in particular what caused Tommy to hit his head and Bo to go up against the side. Tell's been able to hold on. Rain's been able to keep her footing. Claude's still at the wheel. But you are up against this dock. You haven't crashed through it. Nothing, not like Speed 2 or anything. You're not breaking your way through the land, which was a possibility. But you're not. You're bashing up against it. So a lot of the boards on the side of the ship have taken a scraping. Some of the boards on the dock themselves have taken a bump and maybe are just knocked out of shape a little bit, but you haven't crashed through this port.
So you're saying I stuck the landing?
Yeah. and you're hearing one voice of a man go, "Whoa. Oh, right. Is everybody okay up there?"
Yeah, we're all right. And I'm gonna look at Tommy. Did he go flailing?
He just hit the thing and went right into his back. So, boom, just boom, back.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go see if I can help Tommy.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
slapping his face.
As you move, you're starting to go.
Yeah.
It scrapes and burns as you sort of mobility is affected, but it is hindered.
Just feeling the initial hits of a fall.
Plus your back of your neck and a smack back against the boards and that as well. So yeah. So thankfully not a lot of actual HP damage, but pain.
Yeah. I'm gonna go slap Tommy in the face for a medicine check. I don't have smelling salts or anything like that. So
cool. Can you do a medicine check for me for a medical slap?
Medical slap.
Yeah. Sure,
this will help my concussion.
Mm-hmm.
It's across the face. It's not on the head. Wait, medicine check.
Hey, can he not do a medicine check if you say the face is not on the head?
That's an 8.
Yeah, as you can imagine, with that type of thinking, that was quite a high medicine check for you. Based on your lack of basic knowledge. So you just smack him across the face and he doesn't react.
All right. I'm gonna try again, except now I'm gonna take my water skin out. Hopefully, is my water skin? Did Tobin eat my water skin?
No, he didn't eat your water skin.
Okay. I'm gonna try to dump whatever I have in my water skin on his face.
Cool. Yeah. Well, you can't miss that. Tommy, yep, you basically start to to come back.
Uh.
Your eyes definitely feel like they're crossed.
Hey.
And you're almost like, you see your forehead is like really warm. It's really like there's proper like blonk. If you were a cartoon character, you'd have one of those lumps properly sort of protruding from your head.
Gee, buddy, you never run ashore before? You all right? Hey, how many fingers?
Is the ship okay?
I don't know. That's not my problem.
Did anyone die?
You.
I died?
You almost did.
I died?
Almost. Come on, let's get up.
Oh. Why am I wet?
Walk it off, buddy.
It's the rain. It's the rain.
Him
Don't
trying to
worry about
walk is like
Yeah.
you see Tommy Truck. This is a different kind of walk. It's so much like a.
Tommy, Constitution saving throw just to make sure you don't throw up because you do definitely have a concussion.
It's a good idea to pick people up who just had a concussion, right? Like a head injury.
19.
Yeah, so you don't throw up. Okay.
This time.
Yeah, this time.
What happened?
So the 19 was a pretty good roll as well. So what I will give it to you is this is not your first injury like this on a boat. So you do kind of feel like you have a way of almost kind of like you get your sea legs back a little bit quicker than maybe somebody else would. Okay.
Tommy kind of glances over to the land, sees that we didn't just fall up onto the land, and that his boat is pretty much okay. And he's like, "I think we stuck that landing. Good job, everyone."
Quick reaction saved us. Thank you. Thank God.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's how you captain a ship.
Could learn a thing or two from you.
Okay. Cool. You've heard the voice. Everyone okay up there?
We're okay. Wave down.
Here.
Who is that? Who's down there? Where are we?
Portmaster Quail. It's Derek Quail. Are you okay?
Yeah, we got one injured up here, but we're all right.
You took a hell of a hit. You sure? Like, is your crew okay? Do you need any medical assistance?
Tommy, you think you need further medical assistance?
I've taken hits before. We'll be fine. Fine.
No, we're good. Just gotta walk it off.
So basically, at the edge of the port, imagine you're sort of port and there's boards and stuff, and there's a little shack. And this voice is coming from this shack on the right hand side, and you can see an individual on that. And this is he. This is Portmaster Derek Quail.
Quail, like the bird?
Quayle. So, kind of, but not the same spell, but pronounced the same way.
Derek Quayle was the name of this person?
Yes, he's the one that's shouting. Yeah.
Okay.
There's basically there's very little activity on this port city dock. Okay. Which I'm gonna go Bo and Tommy. Tommy with disadvantage, naturally. For a little while. Give me an investigation or perception check, whichever one you feel is higher, and tell me which check you did. It'll flavor the answer.
Perception. That's a 3.
Okay.
I got a 13.
Okay.
The guy that got hit in the face.
Yeah.
Has better perception right now.
Okay. So Bo, the fog and the collision probably distracted you more. If anything, you're still sort of focused on Tommy.
I'm watching Tommy. Yeah, like.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Tommy, this is pretty quiet for a port. You know,
Ja-
like of this sort of size, you know, with the light or the bell, whatever this is, weirdly kind of quiet. You obviously don't know what time of day that it is, but there's very little else happening around you at the moment. Like, for example, you were coming into the port, you didn't really see other ships. You know, even when you were sort of crashing in towards the port, it's not like you were going to hit another boat. It was just really the dock.
Tommy calls down to the guy. Pretty quiet for this time of the day, right? Tommy, not sure what time of the day it is just like pretty quiet for this time of the day, isn't it?
Well, we are a bit slower, but you know the checks need to be done. We are having to take inventories and with with everything that's happening, unfortunately, it has had a bit of an impact on business. But I'm going to need you to come off board. I'm going to need you to fill out some forms and get your permits and your dockets and the signatures. And really, we need to be able to know exactly what's coming into town.
Sounds like a job for you, Captain.
Tommy.
Paperwork.
Tommy, as a pirate, is questioning if he wants to do the paperwork or not, but he also knows that he's not gonna be able to get the anchors up fast, and so he's like, yep, be right down. All right, guys, I gotta go handle this and maybe get a little ice for this, and kind of makes his way down like a rope ladder or whatever onto the dock.
Yeah. Cool. As you see Derek Quill popping up to you, he's got a clipboard, he's got a log book, he's got lots of things. Really, really particular bureaucratic stuff that he's doing, release forms, all that type of stuff. And he's asking you sort of lots of questions of what you're carrying, why you're here, what's your purpose, so I'm not even necessarily saying all the questions. You're kind of hearing this because you're still sort of concussed feeling, so you're not even quite taking in the questions. Yeah, a little bit like that. You're picking out some of the words. Other people can hear them because he's not whispering to you, but you did step a little bit away from the boat. As he's sort of kind of walking there, he's asking everyone, please stay on the boat. We'll come to you in a second. We'll get everyone to do their forms, and we'll let you into the city.
Tommy's like, where we happen to be at the moment? I don't think I've been to this port.
What do you mean? Where are you? You're the one that came here.
Yeah, see, it was kind of like an emergency stop, but the fog out there got us a little turned around on our way to Luskin.
Yeah, well, you are here. You're in Luskin.
Perfect, right where I want to be. And Tommy's like looking at the paperwork and filling it out. Anything that says his name, he doesn't put Tommy. He puts Arnold.
Okay.
And is just like but he can't lie about the name of the ship because it's across the side. So he's just. Yeah. But if there's something with a name, he's not putting his name, and he's putting what's our purpose? And when you do, is it for work or for pleasure?
Pleasure.
Yeah, he puts pleasure, and there's probably a part where it's like how many are on board, and he questions himself if he puts what he started out with, where his original crew or just us.
Yeah.
And he puts just the people that are currently on the boats, and so he excludes the crew that's missing. Okay,
cool. And where did you come from?
We came from Daggerford.
Yeah, and how have Daggerford been dealing with the Jinx?
The Jinx, probably
the Jinx.
A little differently than you have. How have you guys been doing with it? Tommy just reverses the question back.
Yeah. It's been rough, as you can kind of see. Pretty quiet here. It's normally not that quiet, but that's why we've got to be careful about what comes into the city and what goes out. We got to be careful about what we're being brought in here.
And Tommy starts making up a lie of that. That's kind of we're kind of helping out Daggerford heading to Luskin to get more information about the jinx. So anything you guys could let us know will really help round out the information. Like, when did it start? What's kind of been going on? Tommy's fishing for information.
Probably the same as you guys. Probably, I'd say about, I think the first sort of sign of things were maybe 15, 16 weeks ago. So, Bo, if you remember from the date, somebody suggested that it was 15, 16 weeks since the 2 arcs. Remember when we suggested that? So I'll give you that one because the note taker's going to go so far. But so I'll say 15, 16 weeks for you guys. He's basically going to go about 4 months ago, 3-4 months ago. You know, and like, how have you guys seen, like did you guys, like, was it riots for you guys, or did it just get really quiet, or what was sort of happening? What was, you know, I kind of want to know that we're not alone in this.
Yeah, it's real rough everywhere. Daggerford, there was definitely some confusion and crowds for sure. Tommy doesn't use the word riot, but
are you okay, sir? Your speech is a little bit slurred, and I can see you kind of taken an injury. Do you by any chance want one of your compatriots to help you? Do you want to take a seat on the crate here?
Yeah, no, great. Okay. And Tommy sits down. Tommy doesn't want to get Tommy's trying to get more information than he's giving. So he's like, yeah. Yes. And like, so what's like the worst thing that you've all been dealing with here?
I think that's kind of been the difficult thing about the jinx. It's just, well, that's kind of where it gets its name from. It's just been fickle. You know, it's the fickle jinx has sometimes so many different things happen, almost opposing type of results, and it almost seems like it can change from day to day. It's just, I think that's kind of where it got its name from. You know, just locally, it's called the fickle jinx because you're not quite sure what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You know, it's either being aggression, or other times it's almost lethargic. It's been kind of scary at times, if I'm totally honest. You know, and the fog has been persistent as well. It's gotten worse maybe the last couple of months. And you can kind of see he's kind of reliving stuff in his head, you know, of what's been occurring on that. So yeah, that's where he almost seems a little bit distracted.
I'm gonna assume he was still kept an eye on Tommy, though he might not have gone to shore. So I imagine he's like kind of like hanging out.
You were at the edge of the boat as well, so yeah.
And I can hear him. All right.
You can kind of hear him because it's not a loud conversation, because he did get off the boat and move a little bit away. You're maybe picking up the odd word. If you wanted to approach, he's going to be like, you can kind of see him looking at you, and he's not afraid of you getting off the boat, but he's more sort of getting other papers ready.
Okay.
If you did get off, so
I'm gonna shout, Portmaster Quail. Hi.
Yeah.
Hail and well met. My name is Boduck. Are we allowed? Can we come off? Get off the.
I would ask that you come off at least one at a time, or single file. There is a bit of paperwork that we need to do. We just need to, you know, control what's coming in and out. You're free to come in. We're just asking that that information is given so we can better prepare and protect ourselves.
Well, would I be allowed to come down now, or do I need to?
Yes, sir. I think it would actually be helpful for your friend here. I'm going to ask him to take a seat on the crate here, as Tommy sort of rubbing his head with that as well.
All right, I'm gonna clamber down.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, he's taken quite a hit to the head just now. In that.
Yeah. Are you the captain?
Oh, I'm the captain.
Me? No.
I'm
he
the
is
cap. I'm the captain.
He's the cap. Okay.
he is the
Right.
captain.
I'm the captain.
We have our I believe our second mate is still on board, or no? Who was that?
Assistant to the regional captain.
Yeah, but that's not me. But I'm here to check in on him.
Cool. If you do you mind if I give you a couple of forms? We're just going to ask for some personal information, just so that we know he's coming into the town, and we want to sort of check for signs of just unusual behavior,
Yeah.
and to understand why people are here. We promise, if we have the information, you're free to go. You're not. It's not like you're under arrest or anything. It's just as a courtesy to help us try to protect the town, and in particular, as my role as portmaster, I feel this is one of the best ways we can do that.
Awesome. That's wonderful.
And I do have the support of the mayor to do this as well. But I assure you, I'm not looking to arrest or obstruct you in any way. We're just asking for a courtesy, that you please help us out.
Sure. I reach for the forms that he's
Cool.
looking to be filled out.
As he hands you the piece of paper, you look down, and as well as obviously his gear, and he's got sort of weather appropriate clothing on that. The only thing you notice that stands out is that his boots are mismatched.
What kind of unusual behavior are you looking for?
Really, it's more about we've seen aggressive tendencies. Let's say weariness or lethargy, fatigue, and so we've seen that So unfortunately, I get the feeling that based on your captain's injury.
I want to step ahead of that. I want to get ahead of that.
I don't think it's that. So but we do see.
Whew.
But when I talk about that lethargic, that fatigue, it's almost like passing into close to a coma like state. So it's not just feeling a little bit sleepy. It's almost people like passing out while they walk. In between stuff. They're unconscious for a while, and then just you take care of them, and that passes, but and then you get like friends and family members turning on each other briefly, and it's just
you call this thing a jinx. What do you think started it?
Well, I've been around the block when it comes to venturing. I've seen different things. Those days are behind me now. I'm trying to take that to protecting my hometown, even if it means almost an administrative capacity. I've got my peculiarities in terms of thought. Like the fog, it almost seems like the jinx came in on the tide, but there's no evidence to support that. That's just what I think. I don't know if it could be spirits. I know there's lots of rumors and theories that other people in the city have. Just cursed spirits. We don't know.
Some months of unexplainable type actions from people, and you've stayed here. What keeps you here?
Well, it's just want to look after people and try to protect people. It's not like people are like murdering each other or anything like that. It's more highly unsociable behavior, highly unusual behavior that you can tell something is impacting, because it's not just one or two cases. It's a bit more widespread, and it's very hard to predict. So, if anything, the fog is affecting trade as much, and those bastards in Neverwinter. You know, they set up their port and they're taking a lot of business from the area, but it's not like they can manufacture fog. You know, it's we haven't heard much from them, so we don't even know. Are they?
What are you doing?
We've got,
What are you doing?
We've got a little word from Miravar. The you know our sort of twin town to the east. We've heard very little from them. I'm feeling a little bit cut off, so I just don't want to abandon people.
What are you doing with the people that are the unruly? Are you guys? Are you like on a quarantine right now?
We haven't gone as formal as that. We're trying to be more proactive, you know, and cautious. But it's not like it's just happening. We're not sure. We don't think it's just happening to us. But we are trying our best, and obviously resources and things are being strained. They're being stretched. Would have thought that there was a bit more ability to provide support, but no, that's above my pay grade in terms of resourcing. I'm just here to kind of look after the docks and try to at least cater this potential route.
I'm gonna look around. I know you said there's nobody, but is there literally like there's just nothing
on the docks? So basically, what I'll do is hopefully you can kind of see this.
Yeah.
There's this shack where Derek is there. There's a shop over to the left-hand side. Beside you, there's a notice board with a sign or two on it. There's not much on it. There's only really one sign on it at the moment. You can see a lighthouse in the distance, cobbled streets. This fog is dispersed throughout the town, and you can see what looks like a tavern sort of near, because you can imagine with being a port town, there's a tavern going to be near the port. Other premises, other shops in there.
Are there lights on in all these buildings?
Some very dim lights. Yeah.
Okay, so there is life throughout.
Yes, it's not abandoned. You know, no one's been prevented from moving around. It just doesn't. You just get the feeling it just doesn't have the energy that you would expect from the Luskan port.
Yeah.
Quarter.
Do you know what time of day is it?
Tis 3 in the afternoon.
Okay. How long has this fog been happening? Like, this is some serious foggage.
Yeah.
Is this typical?
Fog, no. You naturally get some fog. Not this thick, not this persistent. It's been really in place for probably 2 months or so. And even the lighthouse doesn't really provide the same the beacon that it would before. Though with your experience, I want you to look at the lighthouse. Okay?
Okay. I'll look at the lighthouse.
With you looking at the lighthouse, you are noticing, in particular, the light from the lighthouse is not pointed out towards the water.
In which direction is it pointed?
It's pointed inland.
Okay.
Which is why there was a dullness with the light when you're out in the water. Not quite as bright and beaconing, but for some reason it seems to be pointed inwards.
And my drawing isn't accurate. I drew it.
So
gonna have to redo that.
You were almost kind of seeing like the side of the lights.
Yeah.
The thing. So that's one thing to kind of, especially with your boating experience. It's only really when you look at it, yes, the fog was there and you were looking at it, but when you were kind of to look out at that, I've also got this image here. I couldn't get this one to be right. I couldn't get one to work, but let's say, yes, the light is there, but pointing inland. So not, I know this one has the water here, but let's say it's inland.
I don't know. There's a mountain over there.
Mm.
Anyway.
And yeah, and so it's point inland, which is what stands out to you as being different. It's about it is about half a kilometer away. So that's why even though you saw the light of the lighthouse and it was bright but another way, it wasn't exactly where the port was. You'd still call it the Luskin. You'd still call it the Luskin Lighthouse, but that's why the port kind of crept up on you guys.
Another question: has the this is going to sound bizarre considering the circumstances that your town's going through. Has the circus been through?
Ooh, no, but it's coming. There has been the promotional tour.
Terrific.
You know, it's you know, maybe it could bring a bit of business with it.
How do you think that? How are you going to approach that? Are you going to let?
I think that the same. I think the people need a distraction. I think we'll still do our paperwork to be able to see what comes and what goes. We don't want to be able to track people, but we do want to be able to do something that we can try to figure out what is working and what is not working. So
that's what we're here for, the pleasure. And then Tommy kind of comes up, all right, hey crew, let's come on down, get some of this paperwork figured out, and maybe we can find a place to stay or something. Kind of just calling up the ship to try and get everybody else to come down off the ship.
Just goes one at a time, please. Just single file.
We'll get it. We'll get it all handled. My crew is very organized, and Tommy's trying to get everyone down and get the paperwork kind of going, but he wants. He can tell this guy wants to stay organized, and Tommy wants to make it a little chaotic for him in the hopes that I can maybe just pocket my own paperwork while handling the shuffles of everyone else's paper. So he's beckoning everybody down.
Yeah. So that's absolutely fine. People are coming down. You can see him starting to get a little bit slightly overwhelmed, but he's trying to keep himself organized. Slightly maybe overzealous. Tommy, even with your time of being a pirate, even the paperwork is a bit extensive on this. You know, like there are a lot of stuff being asked and a lot of different things, and not just I'm a pirate, I don't like doing paperwork. This is sort of even above and beyond what would be normal material to be collected.
Tommy doesn't want records of himself, so
yeah.
So instead of just straight saying no, he has filled out as much fake as he can, but he wants to use everybody else's stuff that they're probably, if whoever does fill it out or refuses, but he wants the mix of the papers to kind of make it so that his paperwork goes in his pocket.
Okay, cool. Good. So he's doing that, and everyone else is coming on board. How is everyone else reacting to sort of being asked to do paperwork or fill out this information? And he's asking, have you got any food or livestock on the ship? Has anybody feeling any symptoms of aggression or fatigue?
Claude sees how battered Tommy looks. He's got the concussion and he's doing paperwork at the same time, so he gives him a pat on the back. As he's patting him on the back, he gives lay on hands to hopefully help his condition, whatever it may be, for 5 HP. And tells him, hey, we need to grab it. It looks like you need a drink after this. Maybe over at that Hookers and Blow. Is that the tavern over there?
No, that's a shop. That's a shop.
That's a shop. I would expect something different. Like what's
the Soggy Biscuit is the tavern.
Oh, Soggy Biscuit. Okay, what's Hookers and Blow? Just out of curiosity, is that picture accurate?
Yeah, that is accurate. It's basically a local shop. In fact, you can see a flyer for it here on the board.
Ooh.
Oh, we're gonna have fishing quests in this game.
I still got my fishing tackle and my fishing gear that I got whenever we acquired Tobin back in Flattery. I still got that.
So Blowtorch is over there. He runs the shop. Sorry, Mr. Finn. He runs the shop.
Mr. Finn.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
maybe he's a bit formal. I know this is rich coming from me, but he's a bit formal, bit eccentric. His first name's Calvin, but you wouldn't really call him that. He'd be one of those people that would be a bit improper if you call him by his first name.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can go and meet him after
Mhm.
after we finish up our paperwork. No, we don't. I don't think we've had any symptoms of, what did you call it, the jinx?
Yeah, the fickle jinx. It's really, the aggression's probably one of the worst ones. And the lethargy, the fatigue. It's more. It's almost like very sudden. Getting weak and passing out. But in a couple of hours, you come back and you feel a little bit worse for wear. They slip into what almost kind of feels like a coma, but even then, that's quite short-lived. Normally, you can just give them a little bit of food, a little bit of water, and they kind of get back to themselves. But it's just the potential danger that it causes, because if someone was on a cart and they passed out, or sailing a ship and they passed out, or whatever, etc. It's just the danger that it could cause. Never mind the unsociableness of the aggression.
Has anybody? What about after they wake up? Do they say anything? They
No,
experience.
No, it doesn't seem to be anything otherworldly or even spiritual. It's I know there's lots of rumors going around. You can ask people about the rumors and the thoughts. As you can imagine, when people don't have answers, these things are rife for speculation. But just know, I know this old sea dog. We're a superstitious bunch. But I just don't know what this could be.
Superstitious. Is that why? You got the mismatched boots there?
Yeah, you noticed. Yeah, that just keeps the cursed sea spirits guessing. As if so it's just something I've kind of been doing for a while now. It seems to have helped me so far, but I think at this stage it's probably just more out of comfort than anything.
Hear that?
So basically, any form that you guys are filling out, he's getting to the bottom and he's doing his initials on it. So he's just DQ, DQ, DQ at the bottom of your forms, and he's stamping it and DQ'd, etc. And the log for the ship and DQ, etc. as he's working through.
Well, sir, it was. Are we free to mosey on then?
Yeah, absolutely. You can thank your friends there. Rusty gives back his paperwork. Claude gives back his paperwork. Brian, Bo all give back their paperwork. Tobin's allowed to scoot on by. There's a little look from the portmaster at Tobin. Smile.
Brian growls at him.
So little look at Tobin, but there's like a smile. There's like a smile and then a brief sadness on his face as he sees this dog. Brian has growled at the portmaster for that, which just kind of brings him back into the moment, and he turns back around to tell me. Now that he's got his hand out.
Yeah, can I don't know what check this would be. Can I do something where I kind of stumble into him and knock the papers out of his hands?
Yeah. Performance check. Because you're making it look like an accident.
That's a 17. Tommy like gets up and he's like, oh, I got up a little too fast and kind of I have my papers in my hand and I kind of accidentally go to grab on him, but my hands go down his chest into his hands of papers and just like knock it on the ground. He's like, oh, I took a worse bump than I thought. Sorry, I got this. And Tommy's gonna get down, start pulling up the papers, and can I do a sleight of hand check to hide my own papers into my pocket?
Of course, yeah.
It's gonna be a 25. So Tommy is very much shuffling the papers. It does folds his in half, sticks it in his pocket. I'm so sorry about that. I did take quite a hit up there, and hands the stack back.
Yeah, and in his sort of, he's flustered and want to get this sorted, and he's trying to look at the papers and the checklists, and he thanks you for picking the stuff up, and he hopes that you're well, and lets you go on. He's just sort of stacking his papers together, and you can see that different people's forms are in different orders, and he'll work his way through them.
Excellent.
Yeah. But he's gonna let you go on. And he's just gonna say, Mr. Arnold, thank you very much. Hope you're feeling better soon. And I wish you and your party well, and explore, and hopefully you'll enjoy our city. I know you're not getting it at its best time, but
and he's like, appreciate it. And of course, as always, as the captain, that ship doesn't leave unless I come ask you for it. And
absolutely,
Tommy will walk away.
We will just tie it down extra tight. And if you don't mind, like I said, I'm just going to be inspecting things, but I will take a full inventory of everything that's there. Nothing's going to move. It'll be exactly as you left it.
Excellent.
So as he sort of goes on and he stacks his papers, he's going to put them back in the shack. And as he's sort of walking around, and he's basically going to get ready to look at the ship.
I was gonna lean over to Tommy and be like, "So is this Arnold? Is that your alias?"
As far as he knows, I'm Arnold.
All right.
And Tommy will also be like, I don't know what you were talking about. He said it, got us to Luskin as planned.
Sorry, buddy. Like, I don't know. Whenever I saw the map and where it was charted, it just really kicked up some memories.
Looks like I did a pretty good job getting us here. And Tommy like is trying to like be like kind of walk a little taller, but he's just hurting so much his head that he's like all right.
Yeah, love it. Cool. Let's go. Claude is there, and Rian and Tobin are there. Tell and Rusty are coming on to land. And Derek, the portmaster, is just looking at everybody as it goes along. Nothing, no lingering looks at anybody in particular. Just watching as you go through and ready to sort out his paperwork.
So gang, he mentioned that we got ahead of the circus like we planned. So the circus should be coming around. Maybe we can get a little information how far out they might be. But I think this is a good place to maybe stop and regroup a little bit. And I can work on gathering a crew. Tommy just is kind of like looking around to see, he's looking for whatever that tavern was, or really to see if there's any groups of people talking at all.
Yeah. Okay. So from this location, you're going to leave Derek behind you. You've got the sea shack shop over here.
5 times fast.
That was on the I know. The only leaflets that were on the board were Freaky Deeks Circus, and for hookers and blow, the sea shack. I personally love making up this one, and so you've got that, and then you can see a little sign here, which is the Soggy Biscuit Tavern. So you can tell us near the port town. You can see obviously some residential buildings. You can see a few shops, and you can see the lighthouse, and you can see a official looking stone building in the middle of the city over there.
Do you guys think where you think we should head next? Do you think we should head to the biscuit, the soggy biscuit, or find somewhere else with more information?
I mean, is there better information than a tavern? Dobby looks like he could use a drink.
Here.
Let's go.
Okay.
What if
It does.
What if Tommy hit in his head? Actually, I do a 180 in his personality, and he's like, "That doesn't sound good to me. I don't think I would prefer a fine water and perhaps a nice library to find a book."
That sounds like a
jinx.
symptom. It sounds like a symptom of the jinx to me.
Yeah,
Is exactly correct. Okay. So we're gonna go to the soggy biscuit.
Love these
Oh, neat.
names, by the way.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Soggy biscuit is a classic, dull, very weathered tavern. Okay, lots of wood, lots of creaking boards. You can see it's been very weather worn. And there is a half-elf bartender with a strong stare watching you as you come in. And there are patrons in around there. A few of them are talking, a few of them are sitting on their own. Not overly loud. There's no music or anything. And maybe a few flyers and things on the bar as well. So you can see this bartender is basically eyeing you up as you come in. As you can imagine, you're new to the area. She doesn't know you, which you would probably know everybody else in the town, or they come into this area. And you can see lots of men who you could probably easily describe them, fishermen, sailors, that type of an establishment.
I mean, this is your kind of tavern, huh?
Yeah. Usually I'm pretty up for these kind of things. But Tommy, like as soon as we get in, kind of just gets to finds the closest table that might be open and kind of sits down. He's as much as he would love to have a drink, he's still really nursing his head.
Okay, cool.
Let's maybe grab a seat for a minute and
Do you want to sit near the front, near the door? Do you want to sit in the back a little bit, sort of on your own? Do you want to sit at the bar? What do you want to do?
Tommy probably grabs a table towards the back. Tommy, I think, is a little more. He has in his mind about finding a crew, and I think he's just kind of people watching for a minute, just kind of just like looking around to see if there's any potential people he could get to join the ship.
As you're walking, who's going to join Tommy towards the back, or who's going to do anything, and then I'll sort of figure out who hears or sees what.
Go ahead, Rian.
Ryan's just gonna go to the bartender and ask for a dish of water for Tobin, and take it over to the table that Tommy sat at.
Cool. She gives you the dish of water, and she also gives you a bottle of rum. She goes, just keep your pirate friend in line.
Got it. Just put it down in front of Tommy.
Yeah.
Here you are.
So just right
on the
off
house.
the bat. Yeah.
I'll
Mind if
I'll
I
also
do?
go to the bar.
Claude's at the bar. Rian's got the water for Tobin and the rum, which is both rich in smelling and heavy in intention that she has basically seen through Tommy.
So
she's not. Yeah, she's sharp, keen eye, and right off the bat she's like, "Rum for the pirate."
Did
I
you?
was gonna sit at the table with Tommy.
Claude's at the bar. We'll come back to Tommy and Rian in a second. Bo, Tell, and Claude. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna head to the table with Tommy.
Okay.
And I'm gonna. There's no entertainment going on. So, how's the vibe feeling? Is it feeling kind of somber in here? Can I do a vibe check?
There's a few drinking on their own. The table of men that you can kind of see over here, let's call them unremarkable individuals, are having a bit of a debate, and you can hear them basically discussing and disagreeing, and you get the feeling that the only real topic of conversation is either what the hell's going on with the fog, or what about this jinx. Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and if you're sort of listening on, you can hear one or two of those theories or rumors in a second.
Yeah.
Two unextraordinary gentlemen.
I'm gonna sit at the table with Tommy and start playing like a low, somber tune on the lute, on George's lute.
Yeah, one of the gentlemen at the edge of the bar just turns around and goes, "Sorry, excuse me, sir. Would you mind stop playing?"
Oh, yeah, of course. Just
But,
trying to keep busy.
No, I understand. Just if you don't mind, just no music for now, please.
Any particular reason, sir?
I don't think really any of us are just in the mood for it. I think we all just want to sort of drink in silence, and some people come to debate, and that's the way they try to figure out what they think is going on. And some just come to drink because we have nothing else in our lives at the moment.
So why wouldn't? Sounds like the perfect time for a distraction. Why wouldn't you?
You know what, sir? You do as you like. I ask kindly. I can't force you to do anything. So play if you wish. If other people want to do it, I won't stop you. It's just I just try to ask nicely. I'm not looking for any trouble.
All right, I understand. Yeah, no. I think I'll hold off then. Appreciate your input. It's your town. I'm not gonna impose. Just seemed like everybody could have used a little something.
I understand, but I appreciate you meeting my request.
I think
Let's
Bo's
ease
gonna.
the tensions here. Can I step in?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, punch him in the face.
No. What are they drinking?
We I don't know, it's just there's rum for the pirates. There's just standard ale. There's no more Chesterfield left.
No more Chesterfield.
No more Chesterfield left. The barrels that came in from the circus, they're gone as well. So it's just standard ale. It's just a local recipe.
All right, let me get Tommy a drink. He's been through enough. I'll buy his rum for him, and then let me get this loser a freaking ale. I'm thinking loser in my head, but he sucks. Let me get him an ale. Let's ease the tensions here. I can feel.
As the former slave, you're very, very sympathetic to other people's causes and troubles. So, yeah.
I feel like I've been too mean today. I've got to cool it down.
As he calls him a loser.
You've been too mean to loser, yeah. And you know what? The gentleman looks and he goes, "Thank you very much, sir. You and your group. Welcome to Tuscan. Sorry we couldn't meet under better circumstances, but appreciate the drink and appreciate the opportunity for self-reflection."
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Happy to provide. Just want to be friends here with everybody.
And as that's sort of happening, Claude's at the bar as well. Claude, is there anything you wanted to do at the bar?
Yeah, so Claude's gonna order just a round for everybody from the bartender. He immediately does not like this guy talking to Bo, but he focuses on the bartender because he addresses her. A round for me and my friends, please. And have you had an influx of sailors recently? People that haven't been around before?
Yeah. So you can just go. No, used to things have been slow. There hasn't been a lot of sailors, just more locals.
When's the last time a group came in from out of town?
People were starting to get cursed, or sorry, jinxed, whatever people say nowadays. That was a couple of months ago. Fog's been there a couple of months, so a little bit of a, they have maybe 4 or 5 weeks, really. Probably closer to 6 weeks now.
On a personal note, do you mind if I ask, have you had a personal experience with this jinx that people are talking about?
I think I'm. Maybe it's the maybe it's my ears that have kept me from being infected. Maybe I'm just lucky. But no, I'm in this town on my own. And your name is, sir?
Claude. Claude Marcel Brightward. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Tilda Grayfin.
Tilda Grayfin.
Grayfin. Sorry.
Grayfin.
That's the DM repeating on her. Tilda Grayfin. With your experience, she is a half elf. So very much female human most parts, but quite pronounced ears, but still has that sort of weathered look that would come from the human biology.
So you think you might be resistant to this jinx?
That, or I'm just lucky to be here.
Yeah, lucky indeed.
Yep.
I haven't heard good things about this curse, supposed.
No, it can definitely have an impact on one's personality. It seems to be unpredictable. That's probably why the name Fickle is quite apt for it. Unpredictable, inconsistent, and just we don't know.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. I'll just take the drinks over to the table.
Yeah. If you wanna find, if you have any questions with the town, let me know. In most places, I'm sort of a good ear to listen to, especially for someone who's got the coin. By the way, it's 4 gold coin, please. And
Of course.
And we'll go with that.
I'll pay, of course, and as I'm taking the drinks over, I'll kind of lock eyes with the guy who was telling Bo not to play. Just kind of
for
a second.
So he looks at him. Guy's definitely intimidated. Like I said, he doesn't want any trouble. He asked nicely, or at least he was trying to ask nicely. And while Bo was receptive to the idea, even though it was a little bit of resistance, a little bit trying to convince, both Tell and Claude have come at him with a bit of an attitude, which is not making him feel particularly comfortable.
Hey, I was being nice.
You had an expression that called me a loser. And with that, he's basically going to finish the drink. And so said, Tilda, thank you very much. I'm gonna go on here, gentlemen, lady. Excuse me. And he's just gonna kind of scuttle out.
I won't say anything else. I'll just take the drinks. I didn't say anything to him at all, but I won't.
Yeah, just the angry stare. You said enough with your actions. Yeah. Okay. Cool. You guys are in the tavern. You're all sort of sitting down. You can hear the group behind you sort of chatting away, and you're sort of trying to get your bearings in this town.
Now that he's left, I'm gonna start playing again.
Yeah. When you're doing that, Tilda doesn't really pay attention. You get the feeling when she hears the notes, probably been the first time in a little while she's heard music.
Yeah.
You can see like an old chalkboard where there were, bits and pieces rubbed out on it. You can see some names sort of written on it and some scratched out. Like you can read that if you want to. And the other men are more consumed with their conversation.
Really was just that guy who didn't want me playing music.
The only one brave enough to say something.
That's right.
Oh.
A genuinely nice guy, and you guys treat him like a fucking bastard. Like, how dare you? Like, I'm just glad you're not the sort of party that's murder hobo, because like I was like, that guy's afraid he's gonna get killed if it's a murder hobo party. So
Murder hobo party.
Who doesn't like music? I mean, come on. Anyway, I'll let the group know what Tilda said, that this curse, that she believes that maybe her half-elf heritage makes her resistant to it. So I don't know. Maybe it's targeting people. I mean, I'll say in like a lower voice so that we're not like spreading it around the table. But like whatever affected us might be the same thing. I mean,
that's where you kind of hear the other guys at the table sort of, they kind of hear your theory, and they're like, "Oh, is that what you think? Is that what you think? No. It's that fog. It's that fog. That fog's alive, I tell you. It is alive, and it is causing this. It's all this." And another guy goes, "No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a bloody circus. Yeah. It's that circus. Those freaks coming in, or on their way here, or giving stuff." And another guy goes, "It's not. None of them. There's no fog. Nothing to do with the circus. It's that bloody mayor. That mayor, he's the cause." Someone else goes, "No, it's not. It's Neverwinter, or it's Mirabar. It's one of those ones. It's like a weapon that they're putting in, and they're trying to take Luskin down, and they're just swirling with these ideas." And all of them have the same anecdotal lack of evidence to back up their theory. They're all saying it like it's facts, but they're just spewing. So that's kind of what you can hear them debating, and even as soon as they turn around to talk to you, but as soon as everyone else starts seeing their theory, they kind of go back to their conversation, because it's really as much about proving to the other guys that my theory's right, your one's wrong, you're an idiot, I'm the smart one. All trying to say contrasting theories of why theirs doesn't make sense but works perfectly for their theory, etc.
This mayor guy you guys are talking about, why would he be? What's going on with him? Who's that?
And then the guy who had the mayor theory, see Mayor Brandt, like just typical, just someone in power, just finding another way to get more power. That's all they want. They want more coin and they want more power.
How long has he been mayor?
He's been mayor a couple of years, but you know how these people work. They're all underground. They're sneaky. They've probably been putting this in place for years.
But you got
I don't care that he won the last election. Don't care that just because someone gets the popular vote, it doesn't mean anything. People are sheep. Yeah. And then the other ones are basically fighting against, no, he's a good mayor. Try his best. He's come from a good family. He wants to look after the place. What really would he get to gain from? And once again, every time there's a theory comes up, there's someone coming and going, no, it's not that. It's not that for this reason.
Does anybody mention the lighthouse?
Does anybody mention what, sorry?
The lighthouse.
Nobody mentions the lighthouse.
And gentlemen, let me ask you, why is the lighthouse not facing out towards sea?
Well, the lighthouse is not pointing out towards sea, because the keeper, Calric Hollow, nobody's seen him. Nobody's seen him for a couple of months now. I know he's a bit of a hermit, and he used to do traveling and adventuring beforehand, but no one's seen him. A couple of months. He was always a solitary character, but he was always a friendly character. And then just even less and less appearances, and even more secluded. And then just one day the lighthouse is no longer pointing out to sea, it's pointing inland, and no one's seen him since.
Why has nobody fixed it? Is it like
Do you know how to fix a lighthouse? I don't.
you can't say there's only one person in this town that knows how to operate a lighthouse.
You're free to check it, my friend. At the end of the day, I'm in town. I don't need a lighthouse.
You know, if it wasn't for that incompetence, we wouldn't have ran ashore like we did.
True.
Well,
Is that Tommy?
do you want me to be offended by lighthouse skills?
Well, no, I just trying to vent. Same way you all are with your issues, our issues.
Yeah. I'm not being targeted against you, friend.
The only thing that leads ships in is a lighthouse, and especially in such a dense fog like it is, it just seems like.
Well, then we're pretty lucky there hasn't been a lot of ships recently.
I guess we're the unlucky ones that we were one of the first.
I know.
So wait,
or you're lucky. You're lucky. At the end of the day, you've been a lot worse. You know,
there's not been a lot of ships.
You almost tell this guy's trying to like kind of make sure there's no kerfuffle. It's like, I'm glad you're okay. We're just here to drink and talk, and and you guys, we don't want any trouble with pirates. We're just here to.
Who says we're pirates?
What pirates?
Oh, that's just called a gut instinct. We see your friend over there. We've unfortunately had. There's where we can kind of sense a pirate from a while off. So if you're not, we don't mean to offend. We're not even. We had a feeling. We had this feeling when you walked in, and everyone's still sitting here and talking.
So one individual in a group makes the group a group of pirates.
You often find one pirate amongst a group of pirates. I think that's a pretty reasonable thought process. If you're not, I apologize.
Captain Tommy is a respectable sailor.
You're here.
Oh, Tommy. Okay. Right, okay. Oh, nice to meet you, Tommy.
Captain
Arnold.
Arnold.
Here.
Captain Tommy Arnold.
Tommy would normally, like, if there was some pirate hate going on, would stand up, but he's had such a breakdown of a day that he's questioning if he still is a pirate. He's just kind of just the most quiet and down you've seen Tommy. He's just he's drinking some of the rum and just very quiet.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. And they just kind of go back to their talking. And you hear one of them even just talking about things like, "Oh, did you see the new issue is out? Oh yeah, it was a good one. There's some pretty crazy stuff in there. But we'll see what there is." And whisper, and they'll talk about things like the jinx and the fog, and maybe how's the fishing been, and they'll talk about blowtorch, and they'll talk about the mayor, and they'll talk about that scaly fellow, and the little one, and things like that.
Sounds like an awful lot of people. I'm gonna with all of us at the table, I'm gonna ask, what do you guys think we should do? I mean, it sounds like there's a lot going on in here, but in here as in the town. Think we should investigate any of this? I'm very curious about this lighthouse. I'm actually kind of worked up about it. The fact that nobody is done anything to fix it. I mean, we would be in a better place. Tommy wouldn't have wrecked the ship.
Almost wrecked the ship.
I guess
How
we didn't
long
really.
were we expecting to be here waiting for the circus?
I don't know. I guess we could. I don't think we asked anybody about that. I just know we beat the circus.
So we might want to find lodging for at least a few days before we start running around with nowhere to have a sort of command center.
I mean, we have a ship, but
Do we have to
It's
sign
full of-
paperwork every time we get off the ship?
it's also full of.
Yeah, Tilda will be like, yeah, if you want to deal with old double Q,
There's
right
all-
there.
yeah.
You know, and then you can get the guys kind of laughing because yeah, his checks have become ridiculous recently. like it takes almost double the time, double Q, double the time to get through. So yeah, pretty much anytime you go on and off that ship, you'd have to do paperwork. Tilda goes, there's rooms here as well if you want them, and you know, and so it's up to yourself from there. They're not the fanciest rooms. They're just beds.
Doesn't sound like we'll be in them for longer than sleeping, so.
Okay.
I bet if we want free room and board, we could probably go to the lighthouse. Sounds like there's nobody there.
Free
But I
sounds
don't know
good.
How
about
many
the,
beds do you expect there to be in a lighthouse?
You're a
Enough to
solitary
party.
lighthouse keeper.
It's a good point.
We can stay here so then we can hear gossip at the end of the night, I guess.
Sounds like a good idea.
The-
Sounds
the
like an
lighthouse.
idea.
Lighthouse is a good hunch as any. I can
We
go
could always
look for-
go see the mayor too. Tommy
'Cause
goes
it's
to the
already-
mayor.
middle of the afternoon, going into evening. We can board here and then look for clues or chase down leads the next day.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss. When can we expect the circus to come into town? Do you happen to know?
When it was, we're expecting it maybe. I'd say it's about 7 to 10 days from here. That was on the sort of loop. So I know it's obviously got things like I know it's got a mirror bar to go to as well. We haven't heard any sort of reviews from them yet, but we haven't really heard much from mirror bar yet. And then there's the road in between that, so they haven't even got the mirror bar, and they're coming back round. So that's in terms of where you'd probably meet them on the road as well, but in terms of where they actually have a full tent set up, probably about 7 to 10 days.
Yeah. All right. Have you you haven't happened to run into a gentleman by the name of Veltron? Velcron?
No, it's pretty distinctive name. But no, just in terms of like were they fellow sailors? No, you guys are, you gentlemen and lady are one of the first we've seen in a while now. Not that long, maybe a week or so in terms of new people, but you know naturally there's people traveling through. But no one by that name.
All right. All right. I turn back to the table and enjoy my brewski, my
Mhm.
ale.
Yep.
The lighthouse sounds like more of a lead than the gossip of angry villagers at a mayor at the moment.
Mhm. Yep.
We can spend at least a full day at the lighthouse tomorrow.
Always try to investigate the fog too. Sounds like
How do
it's
you
evil.
investigate fog?
It's a good question. We investigate the light. Probably should investigate the lighthouse.
Perception check.
How foggy
It's
is
fog.
Feels
Yeah,
like-
it's fog.
Feels like certain fog.
It's definitely fog.
Yeah.
There's a
Okay.
90%
So,
chance it's foggy right now.
probably the question as the DM, is there anything you're looking to do this evening, or at this time, or is it a case of rest up and see what you do in the morning? As I said, by this stage, by the time you got through the paperwork and everything with Derek, it was probably closer to maybe 4. By the time, even though you got into the area, you did all the paperwork, really slow. 4 o'clock when you entered the bar, probably getting closer to sort of 5 o'clock by the time you had the interactions and conversations and spoke with the locals back and forth on all their different theories. You're probably looking at sort of 5 o'clock or so. The other shops along the street, some of the candles in their windows are starting to go out. You can hear a shutter or a board of sorts going up in front of the sea shack of Hookers and Blow. And so those sort of things. He's still there, like he's not, but he's basically shutting up shop. You can kind of hear that rustling about. So it's up to yourself if there's anything you want to do, sort of, let's call it like last minute of what would be a business day, or if there's places you want to go and see on just the calendar day.
Just ask the bartender if there's a place that we can get more food supplies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we can serve food here as well, and we can prepare ration portions as well.
Okay.
We can kind of have that as part of your stay. We can kind of prepare that if you'd like that option, just for sets of rations to be provided each day for travels. It's our way of saying thank you for coming in and coming back each night. To be able to do that. And then there's also stores for sort of adventuring supplies or even just clothing. For example, the 2 main ones in this street is the Barrel and the Blade. That's Rogar's shop, and then Mistress Velu. She's the sort of textiles and social club. Or curio.
How much is this going to cost us to stay here, by the way?
We're not the fanciest place in the world. We're looking maybe like for the 6 of you, with the rations, like 2 gold per night.
Okay.
The beer is at the price because we gotta import things, and as you can imagine, it's more expensive to get things in now. But
you got those tariffs too.
Yeah, the building's the building, and everyone's kind of taking a little bit of my town first approach. But yeah, it's not the fanciest place in the world. It's not the fanciest rations in the world. And even to be straight with you, we know what the business is. That you're here, you're staying here, you're drinking in the bar. Plus it's nice to change it up a little bit from the regulars that are here. So
we can just work
it on like a 2 gold per night, and basically there's 2 rooms of 3 that I think will work well.
If we happen to clear this fog,
well, that's just me. That's just me. Yeah. That's just me saying that because obviously you've got obviously Rusty's there. Tobin's there. Tobin has walked behind the bar and Tilda's given him a little scratch in the head. And he's gone back around. So we're the 6 of you that are there. Technically our rooms come in 4s, but I just assumed you'd want to do a 3 and a 3, but you might want to do a 4 and a 2 or whatever combination. That's up to you guys.
Sounds like a plan. I mean, at least to me, that didn't sound too expensive. I don't know if anybody else felt like haggling with her.
Oh, I don't know. Seems fine to me. Sure, we can make a couple coin on the way while we're here.
Toss a coin to your captain.
Toss a coin.
Bo can start busking.
So what are we gonna call it a night then? Start fresh.
I mean, I'm not sure how much sleep
I was
we
gonna say because
but...
we need sleep.
I mean, it's been a
Probably
pretty
looks like he
stressful
needs a
day.
rest.
Yeah, that's what they say after.
Some of
a
us
good
definitely haven't
concussion.
slept, so
Take
they're
a nap.
so looking forward to sleep.
I gave him some healing. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
Do you have a tonic for concussions?
We do. We have a bucket of ice water. That
I mean, we
could
might as
work.
well keep it upstairs just in case Tommy doesn't wake up.
Yeah.
We can splash him awake.
So you basically offers you 2 buckets. One is filled with ice water. One is just a bucket so that you don't mess up my floors.
Excellent.
Yep. Cool. I think that's kind of a natural point just for this game session wise. There's always kind of that nice balance where it's like, want to give these options you can do, but don't necessarily want to paralyze you with with choice. But don't want to. It's getting that nice balance. But there's some good stuff here for listening.
Yay.
We're gonna solve all this town's problems.
Yeah.